Hello and good afternoon, NRL and motorsports enthusiasts the world over. Welcome to the grand finals of the NRL 7th season. Time has flown by, and after several weeks of competition, it all comes to a head here and now. My name is Toon, and I am accompanied by two commentators that have seen it all, or so they think. Please join me in welcoming to the booth Hovercraft and JK85. Hovercraft, we've had quite the monumental season, and we are at the crescendo. How are you feeling coming into today?
Toon, I'm very excited. I'm very hyped. Tonight or today, we are given the 14 best drivers of Division B between Friday and Saturday, and it all comes to a standstill right here, right now. And I'm very excited to see what these drivers have come up with since the last round in their practice runs and their testing, because whichever one did their homework the best is going to be the next Division B champion.
Oh, yes. The practice is key. The strategy is also key, and it's winner takes all. So, honestly, there's no better time than to put everything you've learned this season into practice. Now, JK, it is our first time in the booth together, and honestly, what a time to be able to work together. What are your thoughts on the season so far?
The season's been incredible. Drivers have been incredible. I'm really excited for today. I'm glad I'm not driving. I can sit back here and enjoy the show. The nerves must be going up high now with the Division B drivers getting ready to race.
Oh yeah, nerves are going to be at an all-time high. These drivers are anxious, they're stressed, they're just ready to get this thing going. Now, before we get into the race details, we would like to take a moment to thank our fantastic sponsors one last time for this season. We here at the NRL would like to thank the DGDR podcast. This fan favorite podcast is where four drivers from the PDX Sim team take you inside the world of motorsport and sim racing. From breaking news to heated debates, wild stories to pro tips, these guys cover it all with passion, chaos, and plenty of comedy. Be sure to check out the DGDR podcast with new episodes every Monday. We would also like to thank Trails and Custom Construction. If you are in the Charlotte, North Carolina area and feel your home doesn't really speak to you, then look no further than Trails and Custom Construction. This family-owned and operated company offers bespoke solutions including furniture, home building, cabinets, and much more. They'll work closely with you to bring your dream home to life right before your very eyes, both on time and within budget. With nothing but 5-star reviews online, you can trust that your dream home is in great hands. Trails and Custom Construction, building your dream, homes and cabinetry that tell your story. We would also like to thank Hankey's Tavern as well. Situated in charming Old Town Florissant in St. Louis, Missouri, if great food, great drinks, and great company are what you're looking for, then look no further than Hankey's Tavern. If you're in the St. Louis area, then stop on by and watch the NRL broadcast live on their many large screen TVs and let them know the NRL sent you. Lastly, we would like to thank Little J CPA. Turning streams and side hustles into smart money moves, whether you're building a small business, growing a brand, or cashing in on streaming income, will help you track earnings, maximize deductions, and keep more of what you work for. You focus on building, we handle the numbers. Thank you all so much for your support this season. And with that said, it is time we go and take a look at our race details for this final race. For the season's final Division B race, we go all the way up to Canada at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in the Nissan GTR LM Nismo 2015, where they will be doing 40 laps on all racing tires, and all racing tires will be required. The grid will be set by championship order, so all of those points are now going to be coming into the favor of the drivers. They will have a 3 times tire and fuel consumption rate. They'll have a 1 liter a second refuel rate, and they will also have to contend with heavy damage. And now with all of that said, let's take a look at how the point scoring will look this round. Yes, as it says on the screen, there will be no points awarded, as this race will be winner takes all. The stakes have never been higher, and these drivers will have to do everything they can to climb the mountain to claim the glory that is the NRL Division B Championship title. With that said, let's take a look at our starting grid for this all too important race. So, for our Division B race, we will have Caper, Cole Trickle, Corridor 71, Digital Relay, Felmora, MK3TTWHR, NVR Crew Love 11, Papa, PDX Sim PSVR2, Sheldologist, Stumpy, Sugar Shuffles, VIP JP Scale, and VIP Rowdy Burns. Listed next to their names are their YouTube or Twitch information should it be available to them. Make sure you go and check out the drivers streaming their perspective, but if you do, make sure you leave this tab open and unmuted so you don't miss any of the racing action. Now making our way to the starting grid. Starting row 6 will be Stumpy and Sugar Shuffles. Or 7, making our way up to row 6, my apologies, will be Rowdy Burns in Crew Love, followed by MK3TT and PhD Papa taking row 5. Row 4 will belong to Felmora and Caper. With row 3, we will be seeing Corridor 71 and Digital Relay, with row 2 taking Cole Trickle and VIP JP Scale. And sitting at the top of the mountain in terms of the starting order, it will be in row 1, Sheldologist and PDX Sim PSVR2. My goodness, this is going to be quite the race. This start is going to be monumental for these drivers. Now, before we get into the racing action and our thoughts, we want to take you live to Hanky's Tavern, where we will find the beautiful Slow-Mo standing by on location to report how things are going for the NRL Finals watch party.
What's up, dude? How you guys doing? We're here at good old Hanky's. The place is jam-packed. We're here with the watch party. We've got the TVs and the NRL is going. We are excited to see what's going on. Hey, guys, make some noise back there. Woo!
All right, thank you for that, Slow-Mo. So, what are your thoughts on what we've seen so far this season?
Man, what a great season we've had here for season 7. Some incredible racing. Man, it's been so tight watching these guys compete to get into the finals. And here we are, right? This is what everybody's worked for all season long. So really excited to see what's going to come out of today's finals.
Do you have any predictions for today?
Wow, tough to say. I really like Team PDX there. I've got my eyes on Crew Love as well. I think he's a VR guy, so he has a little challenge with the vehicle. But those are the two that I'm really going to keep a close eye on. Obviously, we got a full stacked grid in both A and B division.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be it's going to be a who's who for this one. Now, lastly, you mentioned there was a 0.01 marathon going on. So what festivities are happening live at Hanky's today?
Yeah, I mean, it's pure chaos here. There's people all over the place. Out here on the street, they've got a 0.01 marathon. So it's about a half a block. And those guys are going to race from the start to finish. I think the first person that finishes has to wait, and maybe they're last in line at the bar or something. So just a really good, fun time here in Florissant, along with the Valley of Flowers that's going on as well. So lots of fun stuff here in Florissant today.
That sounds like a great time. Well, you make sure you have fun and you stay safe out there. Thanks a bunch, Slow-Mo. All right, and with that, gentlemen, we have we've hit the pinnacle. This is where these drivers are going to be climbing the mountaintop, and honestly, the pressure is going to be falling on Corridor for this one to defend its title. Now, before we get underway with fully giving our thoughts and predictions, we have two generous donations from Big Joe 603, both for $5. The first one stating, "Let's go finals, good luck to all racers." And the most recent one stating, "Live from Hanky's, let's go." Thank you so very much for your support, Big Joe. It means the world to us, and we are happy to have you here this afternoon. Now, Hover, before we get going, do you have any final predictions before the race begins?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think there's going to be a three-way fight for the Division B championship, and that's going to be between PDX Sim, PhD Cellologist, and our defending reigning champ Corridor 71. I think those three would be my picks for the for whoever becomes champion at the end of the day. Those guys have been having a fantastic season the previous 4 rounds, and I think it's going to come to a head today between those three.
Oh, yes, that podium is going to be very hard to climb onto, but honestly, those three drivers are probably the best bet. JK, do you have any predictions before we get going?
I think it's going to be a two-way race between Sheldo and Cole Trickle. I think they're going to continue their fight they had in their division splits over this whole season. I think it's going to spill out into the championship as well.
All right, got some pretty good predictions. Let's go and see how it all transpires, as it is just about time for us to get on track and get this race underway. Now, before I realized I didn't give my predictions for this one, but I'm thinking we're going to be seeing drivers run away and then kind of link back up towards the tail end. But again, only time will tell. These drivers are ready. Everything is on the line here. It is winner takes all. It doesn't matter where you start. All that matters is how you finish. These drivers are ready for the lights to go off one last time, and it looks like nobody's going to jump the line, and they are off for the NRL Division B Grand Final in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. As they make their way into turn 2 and the Virage Senna, looks like Sheld is going to be leading the pack so far, and it looks like Sim will be sitting at about half a second behind him. Looks like Sheld had a pretty good start, and everybody is trying to just keep in line. Those tires are already squealing. Looks like we've got Sheld on the medium tires, and as they are dancing their ways through turns 2, 3, and all the way to 6 and 7, these drivers are doing what they can to keep up with their competitors ahead of them and make sure that they do not lose any slipstream whatsoever. This is a 40-lap race, folks. We are going to be here for the long haul. Now, what I do see, JK, is the hybrid system for some of the drivers is starting to charge up rather quickly. Do you think the hybrid system is going to be a huge factor in this race?
Yeah, it's going to play a massive factor into how people are racing and how much deployment they have, depending on where they are on the track. Yeah, something to keep an eye on.
As we take a look at Digital Relay, who is currently sitting about a second and a half behind VIP JP Scale. He's having to fend off PHG Caper, Felmora, our defending champion in Corridor 71, and others as he is making his way down towards the start-finish line to start lap 2. Oh, and we've got big contact between Corridor and Digital Relay. Oh. My goodness, it's already unfolding at the beginning of the lap. And it looks like we've got Felmora as a casualty as well, as we see PHG Papa and Sugar Shovels going to the pits.
Looks like he missed his braking zone.
It does indeed look like that. So as they come up to the final chicane for turns 13 and 14, getting onto the braking zone, and yeah, looks like Corridor, just absolutely clattered them. There's engine damage, there's wheel damage.
Yeah.
And, not a time to miss your braking zones, folks. That is tragic to see. So
hopefully
jumping up back,
get in and get repaired and get out some soft.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the question then becomes, will they get the 3-second pit limit or pit lane infringement for where they enter the box? Because that
they might have to do one lap. They may have to do one lap. That's really unfortunate, though, and that's how easy it is, guys. Even at the top end of your level, you miss your braking zone and you can ruin your own race and 3 or 4 other drivers.
Yeah, it is. It's really heartbreaking to see that happen, but it looks like their loss is going to be to the benefit of VIP JP Scale, Sheldologist, PXM, and Cole Trickle, as they are on the back straight known as the Casino Straight, going into turn 13 and 14. Looks like JP Scale is able to catch up to Cole Trickle quite magnificently, mind you. And as they begin their trek onto lap 3 of 40, it's definitely looking like home field advantage for the Canadians. Hey there, Hovercraft.
Yeah, it seems that they went pretty nicely. There was 3 pitters at the end of lap 1. Corridor, Papa, and Sugar Shuffles. Papa and Sugar Shuffles started on the hards. They swapped over to the mediums. Corridor, taking the damage, taking the hit, went off his hards, is currently on the softs, but had to serve an 8-second penalty on the penalty line.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna really be hard to bounce back from. But, you know, we've got 40 laps, 37 to go, so I'm sure there'll be time for these drivers to bounce back. As we jump on board with Cole Trickle, he's part of Team Full Acceleration Force. We last saw him last round where he finished P3 at Kyoto Yamagiwa Reverse. Overall division standing is P3, and the last results were a P3 last round, P2 the round before that, and in round 2 also got a P2, so this man is no stranger to the podiums. As they are away, and we jump on board with them on the Casino Straight, getting ready to round out lap 4. Coming up into the braking zone for turn 13. Looks like Cole is keeping everything nice and neat, not getting too much curve as to unsettle the car. And they are away. He's really closing in on PDX Sim right now. That gap is under 0.2 of a second. So he's really just one mistake from losing P2 to Cole Trickle and potentially losing it to JP Scale as well. As we jump on board with Stumpy, who's currently sitting about 6.5 seconds behind PHG Caper. He's got quite the task ahead of him, and he's also got Krulov about 1.5 seconds behind him, so he can't really take it easy and just focus on setting clean laps at the moment. Were you going to say something, Jake?
I was going to say that I think Cole's being held up slightly, and Sheldo's pace is regular pace now. He's starting to drift away from PDX Sim, so I think Cole might be seeing that and be quite anxious to get past PDX Sim unless he picks up his pace.
Yeah, this overall race pace is going to be something that these drivers are going to want to focus on, especially because we've got 40 laps, and if the driver gets too much of a lead, well, who knows when you'll wind up seeing them again. Taking a look over at Krulov, who is now 4 seconds behind Stumpy and about 7 seconds ahead of Sugar Shuffles. So it looks like Krulov is in a realm all of his own at the moment. Krulov is part of Team New Velocity Racing. Last saw him in round 3 where he finished P9. Also had a P2 in round 6 and is currently sitting in P13 overall for the Division B across Friday and Saturday. So he's already jumped 6 positions. It's looking pretty good for Krulov. Let's see if he can carry this momentum there, JK.
Yeah, Krulov's an excellent driver. He just gets his head down and keeps going. And the NVR team, everyone in that squad that I've met and raced with are good guys.
Glad to hear. We love seeing drivers that are, respectable and also just overall friendly. Now, I do see over on the side, we have a UYU donation of $999. I'm not familiar with what currency that is, but it does say, let's go PDX. And no, those are not $1,000. I'm not that rich or generous. Well, I mean, we still appreciate the generous donation, Sheldon. It goes a very long way, and we are happy to have you here with us for this historic grand final. Taking a look over on track at Papa, who is the proprietor of Papa's House of Game. We last saw him last round where he finished P11 at Kyoto Yamagiwa Reverse. Overall Division B standing is P11. Last 3 results was the aforementioned P11, had a P6 in round 3, and had a podium finish in round 2. He's currently sitting a little over 2.5 seconds behind Sugar Shuffles at the moment, but has a nice 5-second gap between himself and MK3. So it looks like all he needs to do is focus on keeping an eye on his lap times and catching up to the drivers ahead. As we make our way up to the front of the field and PHG Sheldologist, he's only 1.25 seconds ahead of Sim and Cole Trickle, so it looks like he is not able to shake them at the moment. I do see JP Scale sitting there in the back, making his way over the curbing, and Sheld gets a little squirrely, but is able to avoid any damage and scrubbing off too much speed. Now, Sheld is part of Papa's House of Game race team, and we saw him last round at Kyoto Yamagiwa Reverse, where he was our race winner. Overall Division B standing is P1, and you can find him on YouTube at Sheldologist. So, Hovercraft, jumping over to you, what are the tires looking like for the drivers for this race so far?
Alright, so we had quite a few pitters at the beginning, some caused by normal strategy, some caused by damage early on. First off, the Corridor, Digital Relay, Pomora, MK3, Papa, Stumpy, and Shuffles have all pitted at least once, most of them coming from the hards onto the mediums, except for Digital Relay, who went from mediums to hards. That one was caused by engine damage needing to be repaired. and I believe Hamura went over from the hards to the softs. Everyone else is still staying out on their preferred starting set. Most of them are pretty much mediums. Actually, all of them are mediums, except Krulov, who is still on his starting set of hards.
Now, in your opinion, do you think staying on the hards is the wise move? I mean, he's already jumped up 6 positions so far, so it can't be too terrible. And I mean, on paper, it's looking like it will play to his benefit because then he doesn't have to run the risk of wearing out mediums too soon. Ooh, and JP Scale clattering the wall coming around the corner. And it also means he'll have even more time on the softs if he can stretch those mediums out long enough. But do you think it was the right call?
Currently, I'm gonna say no because he's running with front wing and both front wheels are currently damaged. So, regardless if the tire is going at a decent rate, he's gonna have to come into the pits to fix this damage because the car really relies on its aerodynamic abilities.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I didn't know he was running with damage. That's gonna really hinder his performance and car control for this. Now
Yeah, it
take a
also
look at-
cooks the tyres as well. The aerodynamics
yeah.
not working properly.
You know, you make a very good point, and these are LMP cars, so the downforce and grip are going to be absolutely pivotal. It's pretty much a step below the open wheel races that you'd see from Formula E, Formula 4, and things of that nature. So he's going to be in a bit of a spot of bother.
I think PDX Sim either had a really good lap or Shelder had a moment because he's half a second behind Shelder now.
Honestly, I think it might be a little bit of both. They are definitely driving as best as possible, and I did see Sheld getting a little squirrely in that last lap. So it might be a case of the car's trying to run away from him a little bit, and he's trying to have to rein it in. But yep, that's going to give us a three-way bout for P1. It looks like Cole Trickle and Sim were able to shake off JP Scale, but not too much, because he is rather close behind. Taking a look over at Sim, who is currently tracking down Sheld, and VIP JP Scale, who is about 1 3/4 of a second behind Cole Trickle. As they are making their way up towards the hairpin, it's going to be pretty interesting as we see Cole Trickle trying to stay in the slipstream range, coming into Le Pengel, I believe is how they say it. I don't speak French, my apologies. But making their way into turn 11 and 12 to the Casino Straight, it looks like Cole might be losing out a little bit in terms of slipstream capabilities, because the gap between Sim and Cole isn't dropping as fast as it could be. So I think Sim was able to really buckle in behind Sheld, coming in through turns 13 and 14, and those tires were screaming for sweet mercy, but Cole was able to keep the car pointed in the right direction. Made our way through turn 1 for the 9th time of asking. Everything is looking pretty smooth for Cole and Sim at the moment. Just keeping the consistency game going, and they'll be able to catch up with Sheldologist and hopefully have a nice bout either before, during, or after the next pit stop. As they make their way through turn 5 and in towards turn 6 and 7, Cole is gaining ever more onto PDX Sim. Looks like Sim is losing a little bit of ground to Sheldologist, though, so I think this is another case of Cole being held up. Wouldn't you agree, Jack?
Yeah, but to be fair, PDX Sim is, I mean, he's mighty coming out of the hairpin. You'll see it as we see the footage. He's so good coming out of it, and I think it's stopping Cole from getting the overrun down the back straight because he's so good coming out of his hairpin. Take a look at the distance he makes on Cole here when he gets round.
All right, as he rounds turn 10, yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah.
He just takes off. He's got a really good line through there, and Cole doesn't seem to be able to handle it. So it's a really interesting battle. Sim's doing what he needs to do to stay into second. And you know, at the moment, these drivers are probably looking at the times and looking, okay, we're top 3. Let's look after these tyres a little bit. Me and Hovercraft were talking about it just before the race started. This car is really temperamental from lap to lap, and I don't know whether it's because the tyres get hot and then they get cooled down and you get better grip, but it's really hard to stay consistent. So these 3 guys, what they're doing at the moment is incredible, especially the 2 sitting in dirty air.
Yeah, and it's a miracle of what they are doing with being in dirty air, because these cars are super susceptible, and the constant change in tire temperatures is a very astute point, JK. Very well spoken. Now taking a look at Caper, who is currently sitting at P5. He is a little over a second and a half behind JP Scale at the moment, but he is over 15 seconds ahead of Stumpy. Now Caper is a free agent. Saw him last round where he took P2 at Kyoto Yamagiwa Reverse. Overall Division B standing is P8, so he's already gained 3 positions from where he started. As he makes his way up towards turn 10, he clatters the wall a little bit, but doesn't look like he gets any damage, just scrubbed off a little bit of speed. So JP Scale now has a 1 3/4 second gap between himself and the aforementioned Caper. Making his way around turn 10, looks like a late apex for Caper, and it seems that might have been the good call, because that gap is now down to around a 1.5 seconds. Now, we should probably touch on the hybrid system, and Hover, with the way they're taking these apexes, what do you think would be the prime time to engage, the throttle and get that hybrid system going to give you that extra boost? Would it be a late apex or more of a early apex? Actually, hold that thought, as we now have our drivers coming to a head up at the front of the field. We have Sheldologist, Sim, and Cole Trickle all within earshot of each other, so now the pressure is going to be on Shell, the odds-on favorite for the Division B championship title. Is Shell going to be able to shake them off and defend his P1? We are only little over a quarter of the way through the race, so there's still time for anything to happen.
JP's back there as well. JP Scales is back there. He's watching. He's stalking.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
he's right there.
But honestly, I don't know how you could go about doing this without slowing the other drivers down, because you've got a 3-way shootout for race lead, and you've also got JP Scale, who's pretty much a panther in a bush right now, just waiting for a slip up so he can pounce. And we've also got Caper not too far behind either. So honestly, I think we're going to be seeing a 5-way battle for P1. Honestly, JK, we've got quite the race on our hands, and we're only 11 laps in.
We really do. It's incredible. It's going to ball. Like I said, it's a bit odd. The car and the track, it goes back and forth. You see Sholdo disappear, and then I don't know, the tyres get hot. I don't know what happens with the car, but it just doesn't want to do what you want it to do, and you all bunch back up again. So I really do think it's going to come down to tyre management and how you've looked after those towards the end of the race.
Yeah, tyre management is definitely going to be key, but I would be remiss if we didn't mention the hybrid system management, because that does give our drivers the added boost in acceleration. Which, back to my point, Hover, what's the prime time to use the hybrid system in these cars? Do you want to take a late apex, or is there a little bit of nuance and trickery you can do to get this to maximize its performance?
I was testing it a little bit before. There isn't really any trick to manipulate. So the deployment is on.
Oh, we got contact.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, after that little bump, there's not really any way to manually deploy it. It's automatic, right? Once you get on the throttle, the battery starts depleting. And there's not really any sort of trick to be able to manipulate the battery to recharge more. So it really is just kind of like an increase in power. What's more of a limiting factor is the turbo. As I say that, Sim tries to get alongside too. Back to you.
Yep, we've got side-by-side racing down the casino straight coming up into turn 13 and 14. It looks like Shell does have the lead, and Cole Trickle is now in the fray coming through turn 13 and 14, 2 abreast between PDX Sim and Cole Trickle. It looks like JP Scale and Caper are also now in the fold. We officially have a 5-way shootout for the overall race lead. Coming through turn 1, it looks like Cole will hold on to P3, but JP Scale and Caper are definitely trying to keep up into that slipstream range. Caper does lose a little bit of ground to JP Scale, though, and it looks like JP is going to ride the slipstream from Cole and PDX Sim to try and keep everything nice and neat. Getting close to the wall, but avoiding any contact as to not scrub off any speed. They're making their way up to turn 6 and 7. Coming through the chicane, and it looks like JP is going to get a teensy bit squirrely, but is able to keep the car under control. Making his way up towards turn 8. Let's see if JP can close this gap again, because it looks like Cole had a slightly better run out. Coming through turns 8 and 9, and will anybody... Nope, doesn't look like we'll be seeing any drama on the corner exit. So now it's off into turn 10, which, as JK has mentioned, is definitely Sim's wheelhouse in terms of this circuit. As we see them round turn 10 and go towards the casino straight, is JP Skill going to try and get a side-by-side little run down the straight, or will he be just too far out of slipstream range? It looks like that will be the latter. Cheld was able to put a bit of a gap between himself and the rest of the field, so hopefully he can recalibrate himself and get back into the action and focus on his lap times. Keeping an eye on JP Skill, the gap is only half a second right now, but he does have a slightly over second gap between himself and the car behind him in PHG Caper. Coming through turns 1 and 2, and it looks like JP Skill is going to be closing that gap again. So I think we're finally seeing where these drivers are, you know, excelling in terms of portions of the track. Cole does get a little squirrely coming out of the corner, and now JP Skill is all over the bumper, but gets slowed down.
This track is so difficult to pass. Even when you make a mistake, it's so hard to pass.
Honestly, I'm seeing it. This is a really, it's very walled in. It's a claustrophobic circuit, really. Now, as they make their way into turns 7 and 8, looks like Sheld is still having to contend with the thorn in his side that is PDX Sim. So it looks like the squabble from Cole Trickle did give PDX Sim the chance to get away for at least a moment. But Cole late on the brakes was able to head into turn 10 and is now back on the throttle to close that gap once again. Honestly, I don't know when or how this 5-way shootout for P1 is going to end there, Hubbard.
Yeah, it's really going to be depending on who blinks first, who goes into the pit stops first. We're expecting all these guys who are currently on mediums to go into the pits around lap 24, 25, 26, do one lap on the hards, and then go back into the pits to get onto the set of mediums to finish out the race. It really depends on who wants to try to undercut everyone else by getting rid of their hards first.
That's an interesting thought. It's an interesting thought, even if you go to the soft straight away and do the undercut and run the laps and do the one lap at the end. Because I don't, it's difficult to pass here, and the drivers might be starting to think maybe I go on the faster tyre and do the passing under the pit conditions.
Well, to play devil's advocate on that, so if they do decide to use the pit to get their overtakes, A, super valid strategy, but B, if they do take the faster tires, how much net time are they going to gain overall? Because they'll still have to go into the pits sooner than they probably want to, just to get off of those soft tires. Speaking of soft tires, Belmora's soft tires are looking like they have seen better days. MK3 is definitely all up his chuff right now, and it looks like we saw one almost miss their braking zone back there. That could have been PHG Papa. Now we've got side-by-side, or almost side-by-side action coming up towards turn 8 and 9. Belmore does have the inside line, though, coming through the chicane, getting all the curbing available to him and keeping the car steady. We'll be able to have a slight lead over MK3 Double T, but it looks like Papa is closing in rather fast. Making our way through turn 10 and heading towards the casino straight. Looks like MK3 is all over the bumper of Belmora, but it doesn't look like anything dramatic happened. Now, Belmora is a free agent. Saw him last round where he finished P5 at Kyoto Yamagiwa Reverse. Overall standing is P7. You can find him on YouTube at Belmora. And it looks like Belmora is having quite the difficult time trying to shake off MK3. And it looks like he's electing to not go into the pits. That's a daring strategy, to say the least. As we see MK3 on the racing mediums that have a night and day difference between those racing softs, getting into the braking zone and avoiding any contact with Belmora. The gap is just a little under half a second at the moment. Oh, a quarter of a second. Looks like MK3 had a good run, but a little bit of squeezing going on as Belmora slams the door shut on MK3 to make sure he doesn't shove his nose in. Coming out through the corners into turn 5, and it looks like Belmora will be holding on to his position, at least for the time being. PHG Papa, though, is not one to be ignored on this one, because if these two slow each other down, Papa could attempt, keyword being attempt, to get a 2-for-1 special for P8. Taking a look at Filmora, though, he is not going to give an inch to the best of his abilities. He's working with some less than stellar tires, and he's also got two very glory-hungry drivers right behind him. So it's going to be a test of willpower, strategy, and overall situational awareness for Filmora. Does go a little wide going into turn 10. Will MK3 be able to get the runoff? No, it doesn't appear so. It looks like Filmora was able to hold off and carry a little extra momentum. He is going to have to go into those pits soon, though, because those tires just will not hold up much longer. Will he be heading in? And it looks like he won't. So Filmora will be staying out yet again. I don't know. JK, is this a good move from Filmora?
Yeah, it is, because he's burning the medium tires up with MK3 TT there. And the thing is, I think what we're seeing here is exactly what I'm trying to explain with the front runners. Is if you're in front, it's so hard to pass, even with a totally blown soft tire. You're still managing to keep cars behind. And if you can get the undercut done and then just hold out with the hards, you're still in front. It's so difficult to pass here. It might be that position is the best defense on this track.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, JK, but it does look like PHG Papa has a 2-second penalty. Wonder what that was for. So that will leave him further back into P10 at the penalty line, but he won't have to worry too much, as he does have a 20-second gap between himself and Krulo. So he will have to go back to chasing down Filmora after the penalty line, but it's not going to be the end of the world in terms of losing positions. Making our way back up to the front of the grid, we've got Sheldon just sitting at a little over almost a second actually ahead of PDX Sim. So Sheld is able to play this game of tug of war and cat and mouse, the overall gap between himself and the other drivers. And it looks like the front four drivers just left Caper in the dust. That gap is now 4.5 seconds, so we went from a 5-way battle for P1 into a 4-way battle. So looking at the cockpit view for VIP JP scale, I do not envy anybody in VR right now. This is just, I don't know how you would do it, but you know what? They're the drivers. And as we've got JP scale a little over half a second behind Cole Trickle, about 3/4 of a second now. It looks like JP scale is starting to lose a little bit of time as well. So we might see this drop from a 4-way bout to a 3-way bout if JP scale can't play his cards right there, Hubbard.
Yes, JP scale is falling a little bit away, but I want you to take note of his fuel. JP scale on the top 4 runners have the most fuel out of everyone, and remember, we're only looking at a 1 liter per second refuel rate. So JP scale is going to gain multiple seconds back into the pit phase when everyone needs to be needing to be taking fuel.
You know, I didn't even consider fuel saving. That's yeah. That is going to be a huge equalizer. That 1 liter a second is going to be no joke. That's going to add multiple seconds to your lap times, especially when you've got to make multiple pits. You definitely want to try and conserve as much fuel as possible. Now, as Sheld is trying to run away from PDX Sim, it doesn't look like it's working though. The Sim is doing what he can to keep up with Sheld, and honestly, he's doing a great job at it too. We've seen great driving from all of our front runners. Everybody's been keeping it clean, keeping it respectful, and they're just racing without slowing each other down too terribly much. Now, as we head up towards turns 7, 8, and 9, I beg your pardon, Sheld will be holding about a 3/4 of a second gap between himself and Sim. They are doing what they can, and it looks like the clouds are starting to come in, so that's going to be cooling the track off a little bit. Now, Sheld does have half-life on those front tires, and jumping over to MK3, who is currently 3 seconds behind Stumpy and about 10 seconds ahead of Papa due to the penalty. MK3 does have quite a bit of work ahead of him. The 3-second gap is definitely not something to scoff at. His mediums are looking pretty good, but his fuel tank, that's going to be a point of contention for some of the drivers as a whole. The refuel and fuel consumption. Now, as we look at Filmora, who is on the racing medium tires and has, wow, he has pretty much a full tank, and at this stage of the race, honestly, I don't think he'll be needing any fuel for the remainder, but he does have a blue flag warning, so if he went from where he was down to P12, that's just going to be indicative of how long these pits are going to be for the drivers, and I do not envy them for that. coming through turns 13 and 14 to start lap 19 for himself. He's doing what he can to catch up to digital relay. There is a 41-second gap, so I don't know what all can be done at this current point. As we check in on Sugar Shovels, who is trying to fend off Stumpy coming at the start of lap 20. He does have quite the substantial gap between himself and PhD Caper, and it looks like Stumpy is winning in the fuel department, at least right now. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this all shakes up, and they're gonna have to probably box at the same time if I had to hedge a bet there, JK, at least for tires. So I think Stumpy will be trying to jump Sugar Shuffles in the pits, at least due to overall fuel level. Would that be a correct summation?
Yeah, I believe so. As we just discussed, having fuel is going to save you an awful lot on overall race time for you. And so managing that is going to be key to either overtaking people under pits or, you know, at the very least, give you a better car towards the end of the race.
And we do see quite a bit of short shifting from Stumpy as well, so he is playing the long game. I wonder how
it's interesting. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I was just going to say, it's interesting you talked about short shifting. This car is actually pretty quick, even if you shift it halfway up. Where the turbos kick in, you know, you could argue it's just as fast, even if you rev it out or if you change gear halfway through. So, you know, it's interesting, the two different strategies. You've got people revving this car out, you've got people sort of half revving it, and they all seem to be very quick anyway.
Yeah, I do actually see our front runner in sim short shifting as well, but it looks like he's doing a quarter shift. So really, this turbo must really come in pretty early into the rev range if you're able to get away with quarter shifting and not sacrifice too much time. So
yeah.
This car is pretty interesting.
I love the way Sim takes this corner. He's so strong.
Yep, delicate on the throttle, a mid to late
Shell took off there though.
Oh yeah.
I think I cursed him.
Yeah, Shell just ran like a stabbed rat on that one, JK. So he's gonna be hard to catch on that. As we make our way though into turns 13 and 14, can Sim close the gap back up? And it looks like yeah, he got a rather solid run, but it wasn't anything to really write home about. The gap, though, between Sim and Sheld right now is over 2 seconds. So, or I'm sorry, Sim and Cole Trickle. So it looks like Sim was able to shake off Cole for the time being, but I don't know how well that's going to last because the tires are looking worse for wear. And as the tires go down, the overall car dynamics are going to suffer with it. But as we take a look at Sugar Shuffles, who is about a second and 3/4 ahead of Stumpy, just outside that slipstream range, and has a 13-second gap between himself and Caper, looks like Sugar Shuffles is actually closing that gap rather rapidly. Coming through turns 1 and 2, he just blitzed through there. And as we see Stumpy and MK3, they are going to try and keep up with the aforementioned Sugar Shuffles, as MK3 does have a 12-second lead over PhD Papa, and MK3 goes rally crossing, so he is going to have dirty tires and half-worn tires. Honestly, that's going to really compromise the overall handling of this car. Let's see if MK3 can shake it off when we check back in with them. Let's see what Sheld is looking like right now. He is a quarter of a second, a little over a quarter of a second ahead of PDX Sim. And as they round the end of the Casino Straight and into the final chicane of turns 13 and 14, looks like we did see Cole Trickle dart into the pits, and Sheld will jump ahead of PDX Sim outside of the chicane and get that gap to about a half a second. So it looks like Sheld is trying to find every way imaginable to try and make up some time and put some distance between them. Keeping an eye on PhD Caper, who will not be going into the pits as he has a fresh set of racing hard. Cole is going to be taking his set of hards as well, and they are going to be off to the races figuratively and literally. How many laps do you think they should run the hard tires, in your opinion there, Hubber? They've only got the softs left to deal with after this one to tick their tire requirements.
Yeah, well, going on to the softs, they're going to be carrying a lot less fuel overall, so the hards will be able to go much farther. I'm thinking that they should only run the hards at most 2, 3, 4 laps, and then immediately go back onto the softs with a lower fuel tank.
All right, thank you very much, Hubber. Let's see if they will heed your words of warning. as we get into turn 10 with the long shootout between Sheld and PDX Sim for the overall race lead. Looks like Sheld is, honestly, Sheld is the Great Wall of China in comparison. He is just infallible right now. As we head down the casino straight, it looks like Sheld is going to be about a quarter of a second ahead of Sim, and he is going to probably take the defensive line. Parking it on the apex for both parts of the chicane and belting it on out. Looks like JP Scale will be going into the pits to get off the racing medium tires. So looking at the overall tire life and fuel for the drivers, it's looking like they're going to have to start thinking about when to make their pits. Can one driver outlast the other, and will it work out in their favor? That is going to be the all-important question. And it looks like JP Scale is going to get passed by PhD Caper while he is in the box. So that will put Caper up into P4. Oh, maybe. Oh, looks like, yep, he will. So that will give PhD Caper a 5-second deficit between himself and the car ahead in Cole Trickle. Looks like Stumpy will also be going into the box, and JP Scale gets onto the softs with a little over half a tank of fuel. As we take a look at PDX Sim, whose tires are just absolutely decimated right now. The gap is a little over half a second into 3/4 of a second territory, so it looks like Sim might be losing at least some sort of ground to Sheldologist, as Sheldologist's defensive driving has caused Sim to put a little extra wear and tear on those tires to try and get around and keep up. He is definitely at the mercy of PhD Sheldologist at the moment, and I wonder if Sim is going to try and time his pit stop to go in with Sheld, or if he's going to try and go for an overcut. As they make their way towards the casino straight, will either of them go into the box? Will they go for another lap? It's looking like Sim will go into the box, so what will he hop on? We will have to wait and see. So that will put Sheld running unopposed for P1, at least for right now there, JK.
Yeah, I was just about to jump in there and say Sim's got more pace. He needs to come in and either go on a soft to undercut Sheldon. I don't think the overcut works on this track. I think position is far more important than having better pace on tyres.
You know, I can definitely see where you're coming from. And it looks like, it does look like, though, Sim did go for the undercut. So we'll have to see if that was the wise move. Oh.
Cole Trickle's undercut him. Yeah, Cole Trickle's undercut him. Like I said, I think the undercut is far more powerful here than the overcut. Because even if now, for example, Sim does get to the back of Cole, it's so hard to pass.
Yeah, and honestly, with Cole's racing hards and his fuel tank, he's going to be able to run this and only really have to worry about fuel once he gets to the next pit stop. Now, the hards will definitely outlast his fuel tank, so he's probably going to run these as long as possible, and hopefully he's doing quite a bit of fuel saving, but Sim is already right there ready to strike. So as they round turn 10, and it's definitely to the benefit of Sim, we see Sheld going into the pit lane. So that's going to put Cole Trickle, at least for the moment, in first place. For how long? We will have to wait and see. As we see Sheld chaining his tires, will he be grabbing any fuel? It looks like he will be getting at least some petrol in the tank. And now Cole will be getting the overtake done, so that will put Cole into P1, Sim back into P2, and will Sheld be able to beat Caper out? Nope, it looks like Caper will jump into P3, so it looks like Sheld has quite a bit of work ahead of him. And he is still filling that tank up. Will he be losing any more ground? Will he be losing any to JP Scale? And it looks like he will, so that will put Sheld into P5, but Sugar Shuffles goes into the box as well. So that puts JP Scale in a good position. He is trying to get around the lapped car in Belmora. This back marker will be a little tricky, but it is up to the back marker to provide a safe overtaking opportunity to the faster car. Get a little squirrel coming out of the chicane and a little bit of a nudge between the drivers. And it looks like JP Scale was able to get around Belmora as they head up into turns 6 and 7. We've got JP Scale trying to close a colossal gap between himself and Caper. That is 11 seconds, folks. That is a big ask. It's going to take quite a bit of strategy and, honestly, dedication to try and chip that away. Let's take a look at PDX Sim, who is only 1.75 of a second behind Cole Trickle at the moment. He does have a 4.5 second gap between himself and Caper, so Sim does not have to worry about the car behind him, and all he has to do is work on catching the car that is in front. Now, our previous race leader and PhD Sheldologist did go into P6, and Cole Trickle will go into the box to get off the hard tires. And it looks like he will be in desperate need of some fuel. So that is going to put PDX Sim in P1, a position he's been trying to get into since race start. So after 27 laps, he can kind of breathe a sigh of relief. He does have a 4.5 second gap between himself and Caper. And as you alluded to earlier, JK, his consistency is rather strong. So it's going to be hard to see anybody try and overtake him and also catch up to him on sheer race pace. As we see MK3 coming through and overtaking Cole. Go ahead, JK.
I was just going to say that's absolutely correct. It'll be interesting. I want to know what tyres came out with Sheldo. He filled up his whole car. It'd be interesting to see what tyres he came out on. He came out in the softs. That makes sense. So he was saying he's doing what I basically was suggesting, that you come out and you run fast in the middle stint and then just do the slow part at the end, and hopefully you've got position on track. Yeah, I was wondering why he's filling up his car, because you wouldn't want to fill your car up with hards because it's slow anyway, and you don't want to fill it up with fuel to make it even slower.
That is a very good point, and yeah, it looks like Sheld is going to be heeding your words. So if this does work out in his favor and he does walk away with P1 at the end, he will have to give you a special thank you in the interview booth and maybe kick you a little gratuity, you know, a fine strategy.
Just for the record, I didn't coach him at all.
Well, no. But there is nothing in the rule books that states you can't listen to the broadcast while racing.
That's very true. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Who knows?
Maybe he did. But either way, as we take a look at Cole Trickle, who is now currently in P8, he does have to get around the drivers in Stumpy and Krulov. And it looks like he's going to be trying to make short work of Stumpy as he moves by him at a walking pace.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I believe Sheldologist has disconnected his wheel, or possibly his DNF. Oh, he's left.
Oh no, DNF.
Oh my goodness, no. And it looks like we've also lost Fillmore too. Good gravy, what is happening right now?
2 DNFs.
And Sheld was the odds-on favorite too, so what's going to happen now? PhD Caper is now in race lead as PDX Sim is in the box. We've got JP Scale in P2, MK3 in P3. We've got Cole in P4, and actually no, Sim comes out in P4 and is just able to get ahead of Cole Trickle. So honestly, everything we knew is coming just turned on its head. Now Cole does run a little wide at getting the first chicane and getting up towards the marbles. What do we do now? We all had our expectations and they've just been absolutely shattered, JK.
Yeah, I think now it's a 2-horse race between Sim and Cole. That's unfortunate for the DNF for Sheldo. I feel for him. You put all in that hard work and you're let down by hardware. It's disappointing. But we have got a race to get on with, and Cole is moving quick. He's catching up with Sim at the moment. And we'll see how it goes. Is Sim still on the hards?
I believe Sim is on.
No, yes, he's on the softs.
So this is a straight out fight then. This is it.
Yep.
JP
Scale is about 30 seconds ahead of PDX Sim. But JP Scale needs to go into the pits for the hards, but he took all his fuel on his soft pit stop. So basically, he needs to keep this 30-second gap to be able to slot in, get the hards, and get out and finish the race before Sim and Cole catch up.
So did he go? Yeah. So his second stint, he's gone on the softs and filled up. Is that right?
Yes.
So he's done what Sheldo did. Yeah, that's a really good tactic.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it was the prime strategy. So I think JK85 is a fortune teller, folks. Be sure to reach out to him on Discord for any fortune telling services, winning lottery numbers, your love life, who knows. But take a look at PDX Sim, who is in P3 right now. He is horse 1 of the aforementioned 2-horse race, and Cole Trickle is very close behind. Now, Cole does have PDX Sim to contend with, and I don't think they'll be really worrying too much about anything going on in the realm of P1 and P2, as Caper does go into the box with 4% fuel, And we did see MK3 go in with 1%, so these drivers are going to be sitting there for quite a while. Cole Trickle now has to figure out how he's going to get through the hurdle that is PDX Sim and hold on to P1 to climb the mountaintop and claim that illustrious title of NRL Division B champion. Coming through turn 10, and Sim just moves away from Cole Trickle like he is standing still. I don't know what Sim is doing, but he's mastered that corner more than any other one on the circuit. But will they have enough time? Oh, go ahead.
I can give a little bit of insight to that. I've been noticing that Sim is exiting the corner in first gear while Cole is shifting up to second and third.
Ooh, thank you very much there, Hover. And it looks like we are side by side. PDX and Cole are now starting to really duke it out. Krulup's in the pits, Caper's in the pits, and coming through the first corner, and it looks like PDX Sim will hold on to the lead, but just. There is a 37-second gap between those two, but we don't have to worry about that at the moment as we take a look at the replay. Let's go and take a look. Coming through into turns 13 and 14 with PDX Sim and Cole Trickle. How's this going to shape up? Looks like Sim gets a little squirrely going into the chicane and honestly may have just broke a little too late or gone offline. But it looks like it wasn't able. Yeah, and he wasn't slowed down too much, but a missed apex can be costly if they are closer. So with Cole currently sitting about half a second behind PDX Sim, we've only got 10 laps left. We are 3/4 of the way through this race. It's going to be do or die time here in a few minutes, especially because these drivers will have to take one more pit to get onto those racing hard tires, lest they get some very unfortunate penalties post-race. Now keeping an eye on Cole Trickle, who is about half a second behind PDX Sim. JK, your thoughts?
Sim and Cole have both run their hard, so this is their duke out to the end. We do have to bear in mind that Cole's probably got a couple of laps on the softs already. So in terms of tyre wear, Sim's tyres, as long as he looks after them, will probably be in better condition towards the end of the race. So Cole really wants to try and get past him now.
Duly noted. Thank you very much, JK. Now, as PDX Sim is trying to fend off the hungry Canadian that is Cole Trickle, coming through the chicane, and PDX Sim running close to the wall, but avoiding contact. Looks like the off-road racing line is being held for PDX Sim right now. As we make our way into turns 7 and 8, Cole is doing what he can to keep up, but I'm sorry, that was turns 5 and 6. But Cole is losing a little bit of ground in some sections, and I think he may have to make a slight on-the-fly change to his racing line or his approach and try to emulate what Sim does if he wants to try and really keep up with the pace and have a better shot of getting the overtake done. As we go into P10 or into turn 10, this is prime overtaking opportunity with the slipstream range, but it looks like Sim is just going to be able to actually no. Looks like Cole had the better run out of the corner than PDX Sim did. So that's going to be putting some pressure on the PDX driver. Making our way down the casino straight and into turns 13 and 14. How will this all shape up? Looks like Cole is able to get onto the first curve, but misses the apex on the second one, but not to too much detriment. The gap isn't moving too much in the way of PDX Sim, and Cole does set the fastest lap for this race. As we make our way through turns 1 and 2, Cole is doing what he can, and by God, he is definitely trying. Coming out in towards turn 3 and up towards turns 4 and 5. Looks like Cole is getting onto the curb. Yeah, he is definitely putting that foot to the floor and doing what he can to keep up. He's trying to find an opportunity to get the overtake done. He's not going to have to worry about fuel. He's not going to really have to worry about tires either there, Hover. So what do you do if you're Cole Trickle in this situation?
You're going to have to push. You're going to have to do everything you can. You can't leave anything on the table because you still have JP skill to worry about. 34 seconds separate Cole and JP skill, about 33 between Sim and JP skill. That's enough for JP to get in, swap to the hards, and make it to the end of the race safe and sound. These two guys are just going to have to really pick up the pace and hope JP Scale's tires start to fall off the cliff very soon because we're in the closing laps, only 7 laps to go.
Yes, and history has shown us that JP Scale is no stranger to running away with the race. So now that JP is running uncontested, he is going to do everything he can to solidify his overall race pace and try and put as much of a gap as possible between the two drivers. Now, you did make a good point that JP does not have to worry about anything such as fuel. There are 7 laps left in this grand final race. So all he's going to have to do is make sure he gets into the box and is able to get out in time with just changing tires. As we see JP Scale coming through turn 9 and up towards turn 10, it doesn't appear he'll be going into the box anytime soon, at least from the looks of his tires and overall consistency right now. As we see Cole battling it out with PDX Sim, he is about 4.5 seconds ahead of Caper, so nothing to really worry about in the rearview mirror. So Cole is just going to have to worry about keeping up with the PDX driver. And honestly, given the fact that these two drivers don't have to pit, but JP does and get onto the hards, what is the likelihood of JP coming out into traffic with these two drivers, JK?
As Hover said, the time gap at the moment, JP could actually come in, get the tyres and go, but still come out in front. Yeah, it's massively interesting to see what's going to happen here. And the thing is, these two drivers are not really tripping each other up, so it's just raw, pure pace from JP Skell, really. So, you know, he's really sort of going to town in terms of his consistency and his racecraft today.
Yeah, honestly, JP is doing a masterful job in showing consistency and racecraft. And it looked like Sim was able to shake off Cole Trickle for the back half of that lap. The gap is now about the 1 second territory, but can Sim keep that being the case? Will they be able to shave off time? The gap between Sim and JP Scale is 32 seconds, so it looks like PDX Sim is slowly gaining on him in terms of consistency. And
I mean, look at those lap times. Look at those lap times. I mean, and even with worn tyres, they are so close within each other, and that is making the difference today. Is the close consistency of his lap times.
It 1000% is, but due to the wear on those tires, he is running about a second under his personal best lap, so that is going to play a factor in making sure that Sim can close the gap as best as possible. As we see JP Scale coming through the casino straight, will he be going into the box? No, he will be going straight into turns 13 and 14 to start lap 35. So honestly, JP Scale will probably do the bare minimum 1 lap on the hards, and nobody would blame him. Actually, just to double check, JP Scale does have to run hards. Is that correct, Hubbard?
Yes, he does have to go into the pits one last time to get a set of hards to meet the requirement.
All right, thank you very much, Hubbard. So PDX Sim and Cole Trickle have given each other a little bit of breathing room. It looks like PDX Sim has found his momentum and coming through the final chicane for the 34th time of asking. And across the line to start lap 35, the gap is now about 3/4 of a second between these two drivers, and they've just been duking it out all race long. They've been at this for 50 minutes so far, and I'm surprised they are not just feeling so fatigued physically and mentally, because this car is not kind to the old force feedback wheels, or probably the direct drive wheels, as they make their way through the second chicane, or the last chicane between Papa and Sugar Shovels. Papa has bounced back in stride, made his way from P10 to P5. He's got a little over half a second gap between himself and Sugar Shovels. So let's see if Papa can fend off the Livery Meister. Coming through turn 2 and up in towards turn 3. Will Sugar Shovels be able to catch up? It doesn't appear to be so at the moment, but it looks like he is just showing some magnificent pace coming through these chicanes. So Sugar Shovels is definitely within earshot, and JP Scales is going into the box. Everything will be coming to a head at the front of the field. Keep an eye on Sugar Shovels and Papa, though. It looks like Papa is pulling away ever so slightly. The gap is just about the 3/4 of a second territory. So Papa is finding sections of the track that he excels at. The gap now about 0.8 of a second. And JP Scales on the hards and remains in P1 as JK, the fortune teller, predicted. Keep an eye on JP Scale, and the gap is still about, well, honestly, that gap is still about 30 seconds. My goodness, JP just ran away with it. I don't know how he does it. Oh, I apologize.
It will come down. It will come down. Yeah, the game didn't quite catch up. But, yeah, what a race by JP Scale. I mean, we talked about him about around lap 6 or 7. It's like he was there lurking in the background.
Yeah, he was lurking in the background.
He pounced.
And
look where he is now.
Yeah.
Second stint on softs.
Yeah, honestly, that's JP's really not going to have anything to worry about for this race. So kudos to JP Scale. This was very well done, and let's see if he can maintain this confident lead. As he comes around through turn 10 and onto Casino Straight, getting around Digital Relay, who is the back marker at this current juncture. Will JP Scale continue on the hards? Will he go and get on the softs? It is a possibility for either outcome. Looks like Digital Relay will try and stay within earshot of JP Scale, maybe an attempt to unlap himself, but honestly, Hubbard, given the consistency we've seen from JP Scale, do you think unlapping yourself at this point in the race is even worth it?
Not particularly. You only have 4 or 5 laps left to make up a position. Well, unlap yourself, but then go up and try to take on P9, which is a 5-second gap in front. It's not really worth risking any sort of accident at this point of the race.
You are 100% correct. And keeping an eye on Sim, who is looking pretty confident right now between himself and also looks like, yeah, the gap between himself and Cole has hit the 2-second mark. So I think Sim has won the war for P2. Honestly, I am quite impressed. And keep it.
Cole came in a few laps before him, didn't he? Sorry.
He did actually. This race has been so long that it actually eluded me. Thank you for reminding me and keeping me honest there, JK. But keeping an eye on the battle for P5 between Papa and Sugar Shuffles. It looks like Papa is winning this one so far. Sugar Shuffles is a little under a second behind him, about 3/4 of a second now behind Papa. So he's doing what he can, and just to quickly check on the tire front, as I'm seeing Sugar Shuffle's tires looking a little worse for wear. Hubbard, did you notice anybody that may not have taken their last set of tires yet?
No, I believe everyone on track is on their last set of tires. They're going to be going to the end in these closing laps. No extra stops expected.
All right, thank you very much for the insight there, Hubbard. Oh, and it looks like we have a $20 donation from Gadget Guy X. So, what's it say here? For all the great racers in today's race, this is an awesome race, and for McNaughty and announcers doing a great job. Thank you so very much, Gadget Guy. Every single penny from this broadcast, as well as the broadcast prior, will go into the prize pool for our wonderful drivers, our extremely talented producers, and our ever diligent stewards, as well as us up here in the booth. If you don't have the means or the will to donate monetarily, then that is totally okay. Your viewership is more than enough. It has just been a blast to have you here with us for this final race. As we see PHG Caper gaining on Cole Trickle, will we see a last-minute dethroning of the podium from the Canadian driver? PHG Caper is within 1/4 of a second right now, coming through turns 7 and 8 and up towards turn 9. Cole Trickle is looking a little precarious right now as PHG Caper goes for the move. But Cole Trickle does have the inside line. Will Caper have the overspeed in turn 10? Looks like a little door-to-door argy-bargy, but nothing to worry about as PHG Caper gets the overtake. Now that will dethrone Cole Trickle from the podium, and that will give Caper the illustrious P3 step. But can he hold on to it for 2 more laps? That is the all-important question. Cole is definitely within slipstream range. Keep an eye on PDX Sim, though. Will Caper be able to catch up to him as well? The gap between himself and the new podium sitter is only a second. So, honestly, I think, JK, we might see even more of a shakeup over this next 2 laps.
We really are. What a couple of laps we're going to have at the end here.
It's gonna be a test of willpower, honestly, between these drivers. Now, Sim's tires are looking a little worse for wear. His fuel tank is running a little light, but it should be enough to keep him through the end of the race. But I will say, Caper does have substantially better tire life. So, Sim's really gonna have to play on the defense because he is just plummeting towards. He's honestly moving towards Sim like an ICBM at this point. He is just rocketing through. And honestly, Sim's in a bit of a pickle now. Caper did leave Cole Trickle in the dust as the gap is now 2 seconds, so the tire life advantage is there. And that lighter fuel tank is going to be playing a huge factor as well. As we make our way into turn 10, the hybrid system on Caper's car is pretty much full, and he is belting on out. Will it be enough to get the overtake on the backstretch? It doesn't appear to be so. PDXM was able to get himself at least some sort of breathing room between himself and Caper on this penultimate lap. Now he only has to do it one more time. As we go into turn 13 and 14 for the second to last time, Caper just gained on him like there was no tomorrow. And really, I'm sure he's listening to Don't Stop Me Now by Queen at this moment with how he's moving. Coming in towards turn 1 and 2, and he tried to make a move on the inside, but looks like Sim keeps the door shut. So that will deter any more movement from Caper, at least for right now. As we make our way up towards the next set of chicanes, will PHG Caper try and go for a dive? Doesn't appear to be so, but PDX Sim is getting a little squirrely. Making our way up towards turns 4 and 5. Will Caper be able to do it? It looks like he's trying to set up the move. Will he get the inside line? Nope. Sim keeps that door shut like a vault, honestly. Yeah. And now PDX Sim is going to have to try and find a way to just fend off PHG Caper for at least a little over half a lap. As we make our way through turn 7 and 8, Caper clatters the wall. That's going to deter anything. But and he got damaged too. Yes, he got front arrow and front right wheel damage. So that is going to probably put his dreams of getting the P2 to an end. Sim loses control. Looks like Sim loses control and uses Caper to right himself, but it doesn't look like there's any drama. As we jump our way up to the front of the field, JP Scale goes and wins it all to become our new NRL Division B champion. Making our way into turns 13 and 14, and PDX Sim will be able to fend off Caper for the remainder of the race, or will we see a drag race? It doesn't appear to be so. So that will mean after a long and arduous race, PDX Sim will claim P2 with the last minute upset in PHG Caper, taking the last step on our podium. Cole Trickle's tires are done. As we take a look on the casino straight, it is a battle for P5 between PHG Papa and Sugar Shuffles. Who is going to walk away on top? Papa does have a substantial lead right now between himself and the driver behind him at over half a second. Coming in through turns 13 and 14, this is where you don't want your car to screw up, and it looks like he uses all the track available to him, and Papa will hold on to P5 for this. Right at the finish. Oh, the tragedy! Oh, and MK3 clatters the wall, leaving turn 14. That'll slow him down, and Stumpy will take P7 with MK3 take a P8. Making our way over into P9 with Crew Love. Coming down the casino straight for the final time, he is running as a man uncontested. Coming in through turns 13 and 14 for the final time, keeping everything nice and neat, and away he goes. Will Krula be able to hold on and have enough fuel? It looks like it will. And with that, my goodness, what a grand final race we just had. Last minute miracles, and oh my goodness. But
well congratulations done to JP Scale, incredible drive.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Congratulations indeed to VIP JP Scale, who is our new NRL Division B champion and also gained 3 positions. Now, as we go and take a look at the provisional results, let's see how everything looks after we give one more. Congrats, everybody at home. Give it up for our brand new champion, Victory in Performance Racing's JP Scale, who just absolutely ran away with it. My goodness. Now, looking at the results, VIP JP Scale, as aforementioned, will be our new champion, and PDX Sim finishes about 15 seconds behind him. And PDX Sim, he was battling the entire race. My goodness. Coming in P3 and rounding out our podium will be PHG Caper, who had the last minute overtake towards the tail end of the race to get past Cole Trickle, and PHG Caper does have at least the bragging rights to say he got the fastest lap with a 125.375. Rounding out our top 5 will be Sugar Shuffles, who overtook Papa in P6 as he ran out of fuel right at the finish line. Coming in P7 is going to be Stumpy, followed by MK3 Double T WHR in P8. Making our way to P9, we have Krulov 11 with Digital Relay, rounding out our finishers for the race and our top 10. Listed below are drivers who unfortunately could not finish the race, which would be Corridor, PHG Sheldologist, and Felmora. Hover, good God, that was a finals race. That is how you do a finals. That was beautiful. It was masterful. It was a symphony on track in terms of performance and racecraft for these drivers.
Absolutely. It was, it was a bit of a toss-up, especially at the opening stages of the race. Any of the top four and Caper, obviously, in the top five, any of them could have won it. So it's very interesting to see that JP Skill's strategy just absolutely blew everyone out of the water. 15-second gap by the end of the race, and going out of his final pit stop, he only lost about 2 seconds from taking on a fresh set of hards versus the upper soft runners behind him. And yeah, no, just a fantastic race by JP Skill, but everyone else as well. It was incredibly tight racing from beginning to end. And I think we can clearly see why these were the 14 best drivers of the regular season.
Yeah, honestly, they showed they deserve to be here, and they made it look easy, even though we all know it wasn't. JK, what do you think of what we saw?
Oh, just incredible. Well done, JP Scales. I'll be honest with you, it was after about the seventh lap, and I saw him hanging around at the back, and I mentioned it, that don't forget him. And then lo and behold, he went and his race strategy blew everyone out the water, really, in my opinion. I don't think anyone had an answer to him. You know, you could argue, okay, Sim and Cole might have tripped each other up to slow down, but actually, looking through the race, they didn't really trip each other up much at all. And so, therefore, for me, JP's pace was just there. It was always there to win the race. He definitely done his homework. Well done.
Yes, well done indeed. But enough from us. Let's go and have a word with our final podium runners. Starting with PHG Caper. Caper, you pulled off quite the feat at the tail end of the race. How are you feeling with your overall P3 result, and what went into your race strategy for this afternoon?
Well, I basically executed my strategy. I had a game plan going in. I was hoping to get 20 mediums, get the lap 30 on fuel, and then finish on softs because it would be quick at the end, right? First thing I want to say, though, is congrats to Sim and JP. Great race, guys. Unbelievable. Really disappointed to see Shell and Corridor and Felbora drop out midway. I was sad to see that. I think it would have been a lot different on the podium. But as for how I feel about the results, I couldn't be any happier. How did I get here? I was the slowest qualifier. So I'm so happy. Thank you so much for everything, guys.
We are so happy to hear that you're as thrilled about your result as we are. It looked absolutely fantastic. And JK, off to you for questions for our third place finisher.
Yeah, Caper, when you started seeing Cole slowing down, what was going through your head? Because I don't know about you, but from what we could see, it was really difficult to pass on the track.
Yeah, getting around somebody was going to be tough anywhere in that car. If you try to go around the outside, you're really risking an understeer into the woods somewhere. But I was coming up on Cole. I know he pitted 2 laps earlier than me, so I was making up time. I figured he abused his soft tires a little bit, just like I was doing. But I figured it was just a tire delta. I had a good race with him. A little bit of a come together at the end on the final lap there, but I'm just, like, P3 out of this is way beyond what I expected. I would have been happy with a top 7, so I'm over the moon.
Congratulations, mate. You really well deserved.
Yes, and Hovercraft?
Hey, Caper, great job on the P3. You were, as you said, you qualified about P8. Well, qualified. You started on the grid in P8. By the end of lap 1, you're back. You're up to P6, and then you were able to drive it back home up to P3. But you obviously took took a few different pit laps compared to the rest. So in the middle of the race, right, you were in that train between Sim, Sheldo, Cole Trickle, JP Scale, and then obviously yourself. But you eventually pitted. What was your thinking when you were in like your first pit stop phase, and when you went on to another set of softs? Like, did you really think you had a shout to get up onto the podium, or were you kind of thinking you're just going to end up in no man's land?
Well, I figured if I could still see those guys, and the fact that I was lucky enough to survive that pit road fiasco on lap 1, I don't know if you guys watched that. You should go back and watch the replay. It was crazy. There was cars flying everywhere. It was nuts. But I figured if I could catch up to the group and get into slipstream, I figured they were just riding around slipstreaming and fuel saving, which was what they were doing. And we'll just try to hang with them a bit. And then I found out when I got close, I started pushing and understeering a lot. And I went off 2 or 3 times when I got close. Then I kind of fell back, and then I said, just settle down, run my race, pit when I want, and try to execute. I thought I was pretty good on the middle stint with the hards, so I was on actually fuel mapping and running really hard on the tire because I didn't care. I was never going to use up the tire, so I was just running it out till I ran out of fuel, and then I was going in on softs.
Well, hey, you were able to make it work very well. You had really good laps, especially as you said, especially on the hards and then the closing stages of the softs. So congratulations on the P3. Maybe a bit of a surprise to you, but we saw all the evidence on display today. So congrats on the podium.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for the whole season. You guys were great all year, and thank you too, McNaughty.
Thank you very much, Caper. You go and enjoy a nice off season. Let's go and have a word with PDX Sim PSVR 2. Sim, my goodness, you could not catch a break from any battling whatsoever from start to finish. An hour of nonstop action for you. How are you feeling after that? And what do you think of the P2 that you got? That's definitely quite the achievement for your debut run.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about it. Didn't even think, I was just hoping to make it to the finals, and to be on the podium is amazing. Hats off to Scale and Caper. Gale just, man, fuels. I just couldn't save enough fuel. I just, couldn't do it in the end on that, but it was a fun race, very difficult, and just glad it's over.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. So you race in VR, obviously.
Yep.
So what were some of the challenges with driving this car in VR? I know at least in the cockpit view for the game without VR, it's horrible and so hard to see through here. So what were some of the obstacles you had to overcome?
So in the beginning, yeah, just when you're turning the wheel, your hands and the steering wheel just takes your eye line sight out of view, so it's hard to see at all. So just getting used to that, and basically just getting used to that. That was the biggest thing, was the steering wheel and the hands getting in my eye when I'm taking turns was the biggest obstacle. But I try to put in enough laps, during the week to practice, just to, show that VR is competitive. And shout out to the VR Mafia. We're on the podium. We did it.
I gotcha. Well, congratulations on the P2. I have been wearing that DGDR shirt. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for that one.
Yeah,
And
you're
I'm going to
welcome.
send you off over to your guest this Sunday in Hovercraft.
Hey,
Congratulations on the P2. As you said,
thank
this
you.
is your first debut season, so you're very much we're just worried about getting onto the podium, which or getting into the finals. But a podium finish is always a nice little bonus. What were your thoughts, in your whatchamacallit, kind of at the beginning, right? You were very much kind of a lead contender against Shadow as well. You had to cover off Cole a few times, but you two were very much on the front runner. So what were you thinking on those beginning stages of the race, as well as Shadow's eventual DC?
Yeah, I feel bad for Sheld. We had a great race. I was just trying to keep with him, stay in the slip, and just try to save as much fuel as possible. I felt like there was a couple times he was trying to bait me to take the lead so he could also do the same. And then I had a few little mistakes, and Cole was catching up, so I had to use a little bit more fuel to then catch back up to Sheldo. But yeah, just basically trying to save fuel and tire to make it my stint, and just stay in it, because I knew in the end it was the fuel and the pit stop that was going to determine the winner. So, just trying to save that fuel.
Makes sense, but hey, you still came out on a very good result. I think you might have gone the fastest lap if I recall correctly, but regardless, you still
Ooh,
got
right on.
a very good race, and we'll probably talk a lot more about it this Sunday. So congrats,
Yeah,
and I hope you celebrate the rest of the day.
I will. Thank you so much.
And do you have any questions for our P2 finisher, JK?
Yeah, I do. I Sim. Well,
Hey,
congratulations on your P2.
thank
Just
you.
quickly, you were so solid in many parts of that track, and obviously being in VR, you don't get that level of detail. And I know you probably got people in your ear telling you, but did you realise
Yeah.
on especially the hairpin, you were really strong compared to your competitors around you? But if you did know that, was that something of a comfort you had that you knew that you had something in the tank for when cars were going to try and attack you at whichever point in the race?
Yeah, doing so many laps in the past week, that was one of my strong spots. And then, yeah, as I saw, I would use a little bit more fuel, more than I wanted to, coming out of the hairpin. But at the end, especially on that last stint, just knowing I had enough fuel, I've done enough practice with this amount of fuel that I can make it and kind of push to get that run. Because yeah, that was a big part, was getting a good run out of that hairpin on that back straight.
Yeah, you were mighty there. Again, that was it for me. Congratulations, Sim. And yeah, well done. Bigging it up for the PSVR2 drivers there in VR.
That's
So yeah,
right.
good stuff. I'll be there.
Shout out to the VR.
The elite.
Yeah.
I'll be there one day.
You'll get there. I did it for you, JK. I did it for you. Thanks to NRL, everyone involved with NRL, McNaughty, all you guys. It's been a great season. I appreciate all the support. And yeah, can't wait till next season. Cheers, guys.
Have a good one there, Sim, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you many times in the interim between this season and next. Now it's time to have a word with the man of the hour, our brand new NRL Division B champion VIP JP Scale. JP, once you got ahead of everybody, you were gone. Everybody else was basically an afterthought. You are no stranger to running away with the race. What kind of practice did you do for the build up to this final race? And honestly, how you feeling? Brand new champion.
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. I actually practice a lot with different fuel strategy, and I knew I was able to do 59 minutes for the race. So my only goal was to save as much fuel as possible and just follow and stay in the slipstream. When I pit, I noticed that I was so high in fuel compared to others. It was an easy win right from this point.
Yeah, you put on an absolute masterclass today, and all of your efforts have paid off in dividends. Now, JK, any questions for our NRL Division B champion?
Yeah, congratulations on
Thanks.
being a champion of Division B. Just a quick one, really. You were almost stalking the front three for a while. Was it at that point that you realised, actually, I'm in with a good shout to win this because the fuel saving that you were doing, and obviously the pace you had, you were so consistent.
Yeah, in fact, I knew I was good to follow the three in front with my fuel strategy at free of fuel and shift early. So I came in my practice. So I knew as soon as people start to pit, it was an easy win from this. So I just had to follow them and take the first spot after the pit stop.
Yeah, congratulations. You absolutely decimated the field there with, what was it, 15 seconds? I think you finished ahead of everyone else. So congratulations, and look forward to seeing you next year.
Thanks.
All right, and Hovercraft, what questions do you have burning deep inside for our NRL Division B champion?
Well, first off, welcome to the history books, new Division B champion. So congratulations
Thank you.
on that. I can imagine that for the most part, your fuel saving capabilities were thanks to using the lean mixture, right? I'm assuming you were maybe three, on the opening stages of the race. But tell me how. Well, sorry.
Yeah, I run at 3 of fuel.
Okay. How did that affect your driving in terms of kind of controlling because this car has a lot of front wheel spin, especially on exits of the slower corners. So how did you have to adapt, especially not just in driving the car in terms of its controllability, but later on, I'm assuming you kind of maybe you pulled back on the lean mixture and tried to really just maximize your pace going onto the soft. So how was the car feeling, and how was your mentality in the later stages of the race?
Yeah, in fact, by leaning the car, it was easier to exit corner because I got less wheel spin, and I also use a lot of early shifting. So most of the turn I exit in second gear and shifted the third as soon as my wheel were straight. And from this, it really helped my fuel consumption and my tire wear. So it was easy to follow what I practice for.
Got you. Well, hey, it culminated to, like I said, a new Division B champion. So congratulations on the
Thanks.
race victory, on the championship title, and I hope to see you next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, JP, before we let you go, just got one final question.
Yeah.
How are you going to celebrate being in such hallowed esteem? You know, being NRL champion, you're etched into the history books. That's a cause for celebration, right? How are you going to go about celebrating the remainder of your day?
Oh, it will be a pretty relaxed day, but I will enjoy the win with my team. So I will chat with them and just have fun from this. And I surely want to return to NRL and defend my title.
We look forward to seeing you next season then. And honestly, you just have yourself a great rest of your day, and congratulations one last time.
Thanks. Bye.
All righty, everybody. Before we jump on out of here and bring in the Division A crew, which will be the beautiful Flaw Genius Gaming and the equally beautiful T-Case and Tati, the T-Case that I mentioned just a second ago did decide to make a very generous $100 donation to the NRL. Thank you so very much, T-Case. That was awfully kind of you. And we look forward to hearing what you guys do in the Division A race coming up after this break. So we will see you all here in a little bit. Sit tight for our Division A final.
See you guys.
Hi, I'm Mark Goldstein, and welcome to Hankies. We are located in the heart of Old Town Florissant, 901 North Lafayette, a few blocks down from Sacred Heart Church and Hendel's Market Cafe. This local establishment started in 1926. The Hankies family bought the bar from the Schraders in 1955. and then turned into what it is today, Hankey's Tavern. And in 2021, a group of local investors became owners of Hankey's Tavern. Recently, we went from a dirt pile to a full-fledged patio, which has bags and washers, entertainment on Friday, Saturday night, which we hope to extend that. We have extended our kitchen hours, which is a request for many, many years. We do have draft beer back after a 12-year lull of no draft beer. We have brought that back with Budweiser as our mainstay, since this was a Budweiser bar in 1926, right before Prohibition.
We're still doing the crinkle cut fries and our cheeseburger platters, but now we have a couple new creative ideas that our kitchen staff has came up with. So come in and try our homemade chicken lollipops. We smoke them fresh daily and then fry them and top them with a Asian butter sauce, and then topped with green onions as well. That's our biggest hit right now that we have on our menu. Each and every day we make fresh sauces, and we take pride in that. We feel like we have a very good variety of sauces that pair well with our appetizers. Whether you want to come in here for lunch with just you and a buddy, or you want to come in here with you and your whole group of people, whether it's 20 people, 200 people, we feel like we can accommodate everyone and anybody.
As of this year, we've done something that it hasn't happened in the history of this establishment. We do accept credit cards. We established a Hankey's Helps non-for-profit organization that reaches out to friends in need. Hankey's is a community bar. We have a lot of the regulars from years past still attending. We have a lot of the regulars that have left our area that are coming back in droves to see what's going on. Hours of operation is from 11 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. The kitchen hours are from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. Find out more information about Hankey's on our Hankey's Facebook page, Hankey's Tavern. We put the band, when the bands are going to be here, the events are going to be here. Come join us at Hankey's Tavern for a burger and a beer. You'll enjoy all the new items that we have, and you'll enjoy all our new improvements. So we look forward to seeing you in the future. Again, join us on our Facebook page, or you can call us at 314-386-1525 to get a carry-out order, or if you have any questions.
Witness a lakefront transformation right here in the Point. And you may not believe it, but just last year, this home was down to the studs.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the NRL Season 7 Grand Finale. A huge congratulations to VIP JP Scale on becoming our Season 7 Division B champion in what was an intense and dramatic race. A huge thank you to Toon, Hovercraft and JK for yet another brilliant performance in the commentary booth. They'll be joining us back at the end of the broadcast. However, we now turn our attentions to the grand finale race in Division A, where we will find out who will be crowned champion of the NRL Season 7 in the next hour or so. I'm your main host, Flawed Genius Gaming, taking over for the very last time in NRL, where the emotions will be on high alert. And I'm not just talking about the drivers. As joining alongside me, I have the irreplaceable T-Case and Tatty. Firstly, good afternoon, T-Case. Welcome back. How are you and how excited are you ahead of this Division A final today?
Oh, I am fantastic. I am looking forward to this so much. Division B, what an incredible race. That was phenomenal. It was exciting. We had, I don't know if you'd say it was an upset, but not what we thought was going to happen. And man, it was incredible. And with what these drivers in our Division A final race have in store for them, this is not an easy race. This is not easy at all. So I'm excited to see what the top-notch NRL drivers are able to do in this race today, Flawed.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be full of surprises. Hopefully no jinxes will be handed out there. But secondly, good afternoon to you, Tatty. Also, how are you? And it was great to hear you in the hot seat last time around. Have you recovered? And what are your thoughts going into the final?
I'm good. Thank you, Flawed. Sorry, I was laughing. The recovery question was funny. You never quite recovered from an NRL race, and I think that was my first time in the hot seat, and my voice was sore. But I'm happy to be back. I'm so happy to be here with you, and it's a championship race. Like, this is the best NRL day every season. Let's go.
Yo. Yep, 100% agree. And as you can hear, that we are very, very excited ahead of this Division A final. So without further ado, let's get into the race details of Division A final. And we are in the Middle East for the United Arab Emirates for the visit of the world-famous F1 circuit, Yas Marina. Track length is 3.2 miles, featuring 16 turns in an anti-clockwise direction. There'll be no qualifying. Grid will be determined by their championship league position. Qualifying for this grand finale, where it will be a grid start, full start check ahead of this 40-lap race here at the Yas Marina circuit. This is a one-make race, and they'll be driving the F3500B car, a throwback to the early 1990s of the likes of Senna and Prost & Co., which features a V8 mid-engined rear-wheel drive car producing 719 brake horsepower at 13,500 RPM. Balance of power is enabled with just brake balance to be tweaked. Tyre wear is set to ×4 with a fuel consumption rate at ×1, a refuel speed at 1 litre a second, and heavy damage is enabled. All racing compounds are available, however, there needs to be a minimum of 1 pit stop and a tyre change is required. What tyre that is up to the drivers. Tati, can you remind us, remind the viewers, of the format going into this race and what is at stake for the drivers, please?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, we had 4 points round races. There was 1 qualifier to see where you would stand in the divisions, and of course, these drivers made it into Division A. Then 4 point scoring races. 4 point scoring races to get into this championship right here. Your grid position here is not determined by a quali. It is determined by those points that you got in those 4 rounds, so they were all important. And finally, your position in this race will determine who is the champion. So if you finish this thing in first, no matter where you were in the points, you're going to win the championship.
Okay, and thank you, Tati. T-Case, can you read us our driver lineup for Division A final, please?
Absolutely. So for Division A, this is where they're standing in points. or no, sorry, these are just the driver lineups. We have a higher place, number 91, Alikos. You can find him over on the YouTube. He is number 20. Bacon Dance repping number 757, Cotton Ballistics with the number 36, The Truth Serum with the number 416, FAF's Bobajito repping 87, Azriel IORT number 222. You can find them on the YouTubes. Got Jorge Sr. here trying to get another victory in the NRL, repping the number 3. We got K Naranjo, aka Oak number 12. You can find him on Twitch. Moose able to make the finals again this year. He's number 20. And then we have S7R's Wid, another champion of the NRL, number 39. You can find him on Twitch as well. Then we have Shred in the number 55 car. Talon, been here since the beginning, I believe, with the number 16 car. And of course, we have our lone Brit, the Kai, with the number 181. Those are our drivers for Division A. We got our grid order here on the back row. We have Talon and Moose, who's filling in for Flopster. Gonna be P13 and P14. On the next to last row, we're gonna have Shred ahead of K Naranjo, aka Oak. Then from P9 to P10, FAF Bobajito to IORT Azriel on that row of the grid. Then in P7, we have a higher place ahead of Bacon Dance. For P6 and P5, P5 we have Cotton Ballistics, P6 we have The Truth Serum. Then on the second row of the grid, we have the Kai in P3 and Alikos in P4. And on the front row, the rivalry is still on. Jorge Sr. versus S7R's Wid. Another great season finale for Division A here, and I cannot wait to see how these drivers get started on this race squad.
Thank you, TK, and thank you, Tati, as well. And before we get the thoughts of our hosts for today's race, we do need to check in with our resident NRL host Slow-Mo, who is reporting roadside at Henke's Tavern. Slow-Mo, if you can hear me, good afternoon to you and everyone at Henke's Tavern. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great. The sun's shining. I'm right here at the finish line. Everybody's here ready for their .01 marathon today. It's so much fun here at Hankey's. We're having a great day watching the NRL. What a wonderful day we've got going on. Awesome racing in the B division. And we know we're going to see exactly the same thing. Some incredible racing in Division A. So
great to hear. And are the drinks flowing right now? I have to ask you that.
You bet they are. Pints galore, if you will. So the drinks are flowing. Everybody's got their cocktails. You guys having a good time today? I think we're having a good time so far. So, yes, I would say the answer is thumbs up.
Oh, that is fantastic to hear. And yeah, a couple of more questions, really, Mo. So, you know, what is going to be happening for the rest of the day for you guys? And you know, what was your thoughts on the drama that we saw at on the Division B final?
Well, first I'll start with the Division B final. The drama was incredible. Obviously, I was rooting for PDX to try and catch up there. Congrats to JP Scale. What a great strat, great run. He put it down there on that final, so that was fantastic. Rest of the day here, we've got the .01 that's going to happen. There's another race. I think they ride some horses or something. People are going to watch that too. So it's a full day of racing here at Hankey's.
Oh, fantastic to hear. And last question. So for our Division A final, we have defending champion Jorge up against our former double NRL champion Wid at the top end of the grid, and a whole host of drivers that want to upset the apple cart. Do you think it's going to be a two-horse race, or could you see an upset on the cards for this Division A final, Mo?
You know, that's a great question. I mean, you look at those two drivers, they're always very, very good. But that Division A is stacked There's so many good people in that division. Anything can happen. You know, racing is one of those things. Things have to go just right. So it is up to the test for the two drivers. Looking forward to watching those guys battle today.
Yeah, 100%, Mo. Well, you know, Mo, enjoy your day today. I do want to hear some drunken stories from you afterwards, hopefully. And please thank Henky's Tavern and all of the watch-along party for their brilliant support today.
100%. Flawed, TK's, Tati, you guys bring it home. We'll be watching.
We'll see.
Thank you, Mo.
And he is looking dapper. My goodness. He pulled out all the stuff.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
Camera.
We was kind of expecting him to have a few like golf clubs or something, because that's some jazzy gear that he's wearing today. But yeah, coming to both of you, and I'll start with Tati then. So yeah, as I explained to Mo, that you know, we've got two champions fighting it out for the season 7 crown, but of course we've seen Kai as well, who got many pole positions from qualifying. He got a race victory, and I think every result has been on a podium as well. So you know, how do you think it's going to fare today? Do you think again it might be up to the top two drivers, or do you think Kai could come into play?
Honestly, rows 2 and 3, really all the way back, but certainly rows 2 and 3 are all in contention in this race as well. Those are some very fast drivers who will get the jump on you for sure. It's a hard circuit to pass at, so you might see some real tough battles for track position to start the race. Jorge and Whit are really good at running away and building a gap once they are free of the rest of the pack. So if they can work together, figure out who's going to be up front between the two of them, they might be able to run away with it. But you know, everyone's going to be aggressive, and if they're not able to do that, then everybody behind them is in play.
Yeah, and you did mention a good point there, because off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure last time we had the Formula cars, I think it might have been the Super Formulas at Red Bull. Do remember that it was a straight up fight between Wid and Jorge. Wid came up trumps on that day, but at the Yas Marina, there's no rain, so it's a straight up fight. TKs. Do you think this could be a race for Jorge to try to avenge from last time that we saw at Red Bull Ring?
Yeah, absolutely, Flood. This track couldn't be more different than the Red Bull Ring, and no rain in sight. One thing to note is the settings for this race. The slipstream set to weak, which doesn't mean that it's a weak slipstream. It actually means it's stronger than real. It's just not as strong. Two very long straights on this track where that slipstream is going to come into handy. So with the weak slipstream on, with these drivers knowing that this is it, win or lose, that's all that's left here. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers other than Jorge and Wid really battling to make a difference here. It's a tricky track. It's off camber when you want it to be on camber. It really throws a lot at these drivers. And then in these cars that can spin out in fourth gear, because these V8s have so much power at the top end, it's going to be a real challenge. I think this is going to be the hardest challenge Division A has seen so far in the NRL.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have the drivers on the grid awaiting this Division A final. It's 40 laps at the Yas Marina as we get 5 red lights. Lights are out and away we go, and it's a great start from Jorge ahead of S7R with the Kai still in third position, trying to cover off 2 cars in the background of Alicos and Cotton Ballistics in P45, and it looks like they're swapping positions through the S's right now, but it's Jorge ahead of Wid, ahead of Kai, ahead of Alicos, Bacon Dars, Cotton Ballistics and Darken Azriel as well in PE7 as we go into the hairpin for the first time of our asking. Yeah, it looks like it's a line astern for a lot of the drivers at the moment as we go down the back straight, approaching the sharp, heavy braking zone as S7R Win thought about making an early move on the Jorge there, but decided to back out of it for the time being as they bunch up into the chicane. It looks like Alakos has sunk down 2 positions and making that to Copolistic. Oh, what's happened there, TK?
Sorry, Shred now back down to P14. He is lost it, was going wheel to wheel in here. Let's look at this again. This is such a tricky chicane here, and if you're not in VR, you can't see where you need to go. So you can see he dives up the inside, but gets a little contact, gets on the curb, trying to get on the throttle again, gets a little tap from Darken Azrael and a higher place, and that sends him around, and he struggles to get pointed in the right direction, Claude.
Yeah, and as you could see there as well with the high downforce, very good through the medium and fast corners, but then when it comes to the slower exits, that's where you need to be really careful as Baker does. Sizes up an opportunity on Nakai, goes up the inside of him and moves up into P3. Kai sinking down into P4, but with a bit of a gap to Alikos in P5, but a textbook overtake from Baker does to move up into P3, Tati.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And of course, you know, T16 being able to do something like that in the very last corner is amazing. We'll keep an eye on something like that towards the end of the race. But look at Jorge and Wiz. They've got a bit of a gap to 3 and 4, but maybe Bacon Dance and Kai can work together to catch back up to him.
Yeah, well, Bacon Dance up 5 positions from his grid start of 8th place. So having an absolutely storming start in this Division A final is a higher place. Having the inside line to Alikos, but Alikos has got a nose in front. Higher place, he's going to stick his nose in front. No, and I think he's just made the move stick there as Cotton Ballistics now fighting tooth and nail for that stick position. Alikos should be favourite here, having the inside line, but Cotton Ballistics is not going to make it easy for him as he tries the old switcheroo. Can he make it stick? It looks like Cotton Ballistics is going to make it work to move up into P6. What a fantastic move you've just seen there, TKs.
Yeah, this is crazy, Flaw. This isn't the only battle that's happening. I'm trying to keep track of tires going on. We have so many different tire variants, about maybe a 60-40 split of medium and soft runners. So we're seeing tire advantages, tire disadvantages as we go around this tight track that really only has a handful of overtaking opportunities, Claude. This is outright insanity, and these drivers are showing us how good they are with no assist. No assist. This is insane, Claude.
This is insane, and they are bunching up here. There's a 3-way fight for that P8 as Kate Naranjo goes around the outside of FAF Bobagido, and I'm not used to saying that at all. So a great move there, and you know, took the opportunity there as it looks like Bobagido's coming fighting back down the inside. What a great move from Bobagido, not giving up without a fight, moves back up into P9, and the Truth Serum is looking to try and take advantage if one presents itself. There was a bit of contact between Kate Naranjo and Bobagido as they go side by side into the corner. Kate Naranjo moves back up into P9. Bobagido down to P10. The Truth Serum will stay just behind them in a P11, but already after, what, 2.5 laps, Tati, action galore.
Yeah, that was crazy. Kate Naranjo thinks he's, oh God, was it Lando Norris who did something like that last season? Anyway, this is incredible. Thank you for pointing out that we have a lot of softs and mediums on the track at the same time, TK, so that does make a huge difference here. But, I mean, the positional changes are insane. We just looked at the Truth Serum. He was all the way down to P11. He started on the 3rd row. Yeah, this whole, everybody's to play. Every position is to play for everyone here.
Yes, indeed. And as you mentioned, TKs, as well, we've got a varying of strategies as Cotton Ballistics picks up a half-a-second penalty for cutting track limits. Darken Azrael's going to challenge him on the inside, and can he make it stick? I don't know if he did or not. P8, P7, well, they are still fighting tooth and nail. Cotton Ballistics will have to serve that penalty on this lap in a couple of corners' time, but Darken Azrael will try to make the move before we get into the penalty zone around the outside, and it looks like Darken Azrael Azrael has made it work to move up into P7, but Cotton Ballistics will come fighting back, using that slipstream down the back straight now. Can Cotton Ballistics fight back and try and take that position before he takes that penalty? Looks like he's got the overspeed, goes hard onto the brakes into the chicane and retakes that P7, but he will take that penalty now, T-Case.
Yeah, the penalties are killer here. Let's look at this replay. As you can see, Cotton Ballistics with no penalty yet. Where does he pick up this penalty as they come into the tight twisted fix? And we see Kay Naranjo. This was something I saw earlier. Unfortunately, he goes into the back of Darkin Azrael, and look at that. He gets loose, loses it, makes contact there, spins out FAF Bobagito. There was thankfully, even though no ghosting is on, the game granted mercy there and allowed a driver to go through, and that puts Oak and Bobagito in the back of the pack. Unfortunate to see here around this track.
Yeah, and unfortunately picks up rear aero damage to boot as well. So it's going to be interesting to see now what he's going to do in terms of his strategy, because is he going to run with the damage, or will his strategies change throughout this race? Well, we're riding on board with S7R, the Truth Serum, who has now made up 2 positions from last time we looked at him, who, as Tati, wins out, catches the curb, it unstables the car, and he smashes into the barrier, and that is absolutely costly for the Truth Serum there, Tessie.
Yes, we're looking at him now to see how that happened. He was doing really well here through turns 3, 2, 3, 4 complex. Oh yeah, he catches the curb way out. It's slippery out there, and it completely unsettled the car, and it happened at lightning speed, as we literally got a first-person view of. I do want to note that we saw both Gito and Kay Naranjo go into the pits right as we started their replay, so they went to fix their damage.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that. And sorry, TK, what tyres are they on? What did they start on them? What have they gone back onto?
So we got Jorge and Wid both started on the softs, then the Kai, Alicos, Cotton, and Truth on the mediums. Higher place softs, Bacon softs, Boba, Gito, Azrael, Shred, Oak, Talon, Moose, and Alicos on the medium. So a good mix there. And I'll go take a look at what our 2 pitters did. So Boba Gito pitted, he did the softs, as well as Kay Naranjo for the softs, but no fuel, because it doesn't seem like fuel is an issue on this race.
Okay, that's fair. Well, we're running on board with Talon at the moment. Our originally Saturday driver. Now he had a pretty solid league phase through the 4 rounds that he did. P7, P9, P6 and P4, earning him 33 points. So he was literally on the cusp of qualifying for this Division A final. But he is an ever-present driver in the NRL. Made his debut in Season 3 with a P13. Season 4, same position. Season 5, he got himself a podium up into P3 and disappointed in the last season in P9. So looking for better things from this season as we look on board with Moose as well, who didn't originally qualify. However, I do believe it was Flobster that wasn't able to make it for this Division A final. So Moose was the next driver in the standings. 15th he was, so he takes his place, currently doing brilliant in P8. He's made up 6 positions in this race, and he's just currently 1.1 seconds down on Darkin Azrael. So making good progress so far after just 5 laps of this race, as we are nearing the end of lap 6. Moose is also an ever-present driver. I do believe he made his debut in Season 3, and in Season 6 actually did manage to get himself on a podium as well. Yeah, Moose, we was expecting him to be going one better, challenging the top drivers, but had a little bit of a disappointing campaign this time around. But Oh, and
my
they're battling
goodness.
right now with the top two drivers. Jorge going side by side with Wid. He went a little bit sideways as he came out of the corner, but he still has the inside line. But Wid gets in front, but again, Jorge will come fighting back, has the inside line, and Jorge, I think, may just take the race lead back away from S7R Wid as he took the inside line and will defend for his life now. But a fantastic battle brewing up between the top two drivers here, Tati.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and we get to catch them in some of the best corners for passing attempts here, into the chicane, into turn 9. I mean, I literally was just thinking, I wonder what they're doing up front when it was mentioned that they're battling. This is amazing to see.
Yes, it is certainly the battle of the Titans right now. It is advantage to Jorge right now, but a very slender advantage at that. 0.4 of a second separating the two drivers now. TK, you mentioned a very important fact about the slipstream being on weak, which is actually stronger than real. So when it comes to this back stretch now, if he can get a good exit out of here, that slipstream is going to be also powerful. Unfortunately, didn't get the best exit. I don't think he's going to be able to challenge Jorge once we go into the braking zone. However, you can see the slipstream really pulling him on as we get into the chicane now. So that has come down to about 0.2 of a second. What kind of exit can he get? It's a good one, but so did Jorge as well as he's looking to try and pull away from S7R Wid. But TK, whilst we've got a brief moment, any other battles going on amongst the grid right now?
Yeah, we got a quiet battle for P7 going on between Moose and Israel. They're staying in touch with each other, but some interesting things to note of the drivers who pitted. Cotton pitted from mediums to softs, then Truth pitted. I don't think we were expecting to see this. He pitted from mediums to hards. I did not think we'd see the hards this race. Another interesting thing, Shred did medium. So I think all these drivers, or some of these drivers, are expecting perhaps a two-stopper, especially with Shred doing the medium and the medium. He's going to have to pit again for another tire change. But yeah, Truth going onto the hards has me questioning everything right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, certainly the stakes are very high at the moment, and we're riding on board with Bacon Dance, but you can see how close it is between the top two drivers of Jorge and S7R Wid now. It looks like Wid has got a little bit closer to the back of Jorge. So is that slipstream going to pull him along? In fact, I thought they were, but the gap is 0.4 of a second. So again, I think it is literally just a game of cat and mouse, and maybe we're just hoping to force a mistake from Jorge, which is very unlike Jorge, it has to be said. So he could be hoping for a miracle right now, as actually Jorge got a better exit out of the chicane. Yeah, it sounds like we may have other battles going on, TKs. I hear maybe mid-pack. How are they doing?
Yeah, mid-pack, it's still on with Moose and Dark and Azrael. We can see it here on our main screen. Very, very close. It's just been very consistent. You can see those lap times there, 3 in a row in the mid-133s for Dark and Azrael. So Azrael is part of IORT, the Infinity Octane Racing Team. Season 7, Round 4, P2 at Blue Moon Bay was their last appearance. Division A, P10 overall, and just trying to hold their own against Moose, who, like we said earlier, wasn't supposed to be in this race, but because another driver couldn't make it, they were on the cusp and allowing Moose to challenge back again, Claude.
Okay. Well, going about their progress the right way at the moment, not battling too much, trying to preserve them medium tyres. Meanwhile, we still got a battle for the race lead. Both the drivers on the racing soft tyres, I do believe. You can see that the tyre wear is pretty high as we approach the midway point of lap 10, as Wid does close up to the back of Jorge. And again, I mean, these cars, you know, great high downfalls, but a little bit sketchy on the exits. But here comes S7R Win as he pulls to the outside of Jorge. Can he make it work around the outside? I'm not 100% sure it's going to quite work as Jorge perfectly positions his car in the way of S7R Win to hold on to the race lead. But certainly what S7R Win is trying to do here is to get Jorge to focus on his mirrors as they close up again, but didn't close up in time as we went through the I think it was turn number 13, and as we approach turn number 16 now for the end of lap 10, it is as close as it is between the top two drivers. But what I have noticed is that Bacon Dance isn't that far away from the top two drivers here, Tati.
No, he's been lurking for sure, and these two have been fighting but not really slowing each other down too much. I don't think Witt is trying to go around the outside in turn 9. That feels like his line, but I do notice that it sets him up a little bit better for turn 11, 10, 11, and 12, which does put pressure on Jorge, to your point about getting in his mirror. So we'll see if it starts to work, because Jorge is starting to bring himself back to you.
Yeah, it might well be, because definitely squeaky bum time, because Jorge didn't get the best exit. He's going to stick a nose on the inside. Win had to go a bit deeper and a bit wide and hands back the race lead to Jorge. And actually Jorge getting the perfect line out of the chicane to actually pulling way ahead, and Win is going to have to do it the hard way yet again. But Bacon Dance, as we was mentioning, lurking in the background now. He is praying that they will be battling as Kai and higher place now battling for that full position. I did see Kai down into P5. Looks like Kai is going to take that fourth position away from higher place, although he is still sticking a nose on the inside. He saw the gap, he took it. Kai has the inside line for the next turn, but the higher place... higher place retakes that P4 as it looks like the Kai doing stunt jumps over that cone now. That's what we're laughing at. But yeah, certainly a very, very fascinating race between these two drivers, Ticos.
Yeah, this is epic. Let's look at this again. They were side by side for so long. I was on board with them. We saw it in the picture-in-picture, and you can just see the two battling it out, trying to keep it together. These cars are not easy to drive, and look at how long this straight is. You can see side by side, no contact, and around the outside, he's able to get the throttle down, but no, a higher place on the inside. Where does it happen? Right there. He keeps it within track limits. Well done. Well done to the Kai. That was very impressive. The higher place trying to fight back, and this is insane. This is just insane. I don't even know what to say. We did see Jorge Sr. dive into the pits. Jorge Sr. coming back out on the soft, so he's doing a soft, so perhaps a little different strategy here as well.
Yes.
Can I say something about strategy? Oh, wait.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, it looks like they are separated by a few tenths. It is as close as you like between the two drivers. And of course, Bacon Dance, who was 1.3 seconds down on Wid earlier, now closing in to about 2.5 tenths to 3 tenths of a second. But yeah, Tati, talk about the possible strategies that we could see on play here today.
Yeah, well, earlier... Oh, okay. Went into the pits. Okay, sorry. I thought something was happening. Earlier on, DK wondered why the Truth would have jumped on the hards. I think he's just trying not to have to pit again. Obviously, he would have to pit to fix his damage. He changed tires. He's met the pit requirement, so if he can stay out, he can regain some of that time.
Great point. You're right. 100%. He's thinking the long game. I was thinking short term. And that's why the Truth is in Division A finals, right?
We just talk about it.
Yeah, we just judge.
And Wade comes out on the medium, so doing something different from Jorge. Wade comes out on the mediums. Jorge has done soft, so I don't see how Jorge's going to keep the softs going for the remainder of the race. So at least for Jorge, he's on a 2-stop.
You have to change compound too, so yeah, he's going to have to be.
Yeah, 100%. So Jorge going for the more aggressive strategy now. It was thought that before the race that yes, they were going to do the one-stopper and do the majority of the laps on the mediums, perhaps around 20 to 25 laps on the medium tyres and then the rest on the softs. However, we saw how burnt out the tyres were on Jorge's and Wid's tyres. As it looks like Jorge having the superior grip, takes the inside line from Alicos, moves back up into P4 as Alicos looks to try and hold on to that slipstream. But yeah, just talking about the strategy. So after, what was it, 12 laps, you could see that the top two drivers at the time, their tyres were burnt to a crisp. So Baker Dars comes in from the provisional race lead off of them burnt out soft tyres with a higher place as well. So it looks like the Kai is going to have the provisional race lead for the time being, 4.1 seconds ahead of Jorge, who holds second position now, who is now 1.5 seconds already up the road from Alicos, who is in third, just in front of S7R Wid in fourth, and Bacon Dars, who has now rejoined in fifth position, in kind of no man's land at the moment, but he is on the medium tyres, looking to eke out as much as he can on that medium tyre. You can see, if we're talking about degradation and how long their medium tyres last, looking at the Kai's tyre situation, well, he is on lap 14, and you can see that they're degraded to about, was it 30-40%? So doing a great job in preserving them tyres. But the Kai, fellow Brit, and great pedigree from the Kai, who in qualifying was the man of Saturdays. He, I do believe, got 3 pole positions from 4. Wasn't able to transform that into race victories, although he did win once against Jorge, with the rest of the victories in Saturday going to Jorge, who got the second position in the standing, first position in the standings. He was the only driver in Saturday to get triple digits, 100 points. But Jorge very rarely makes mistakes, very rarely loses races, so you can't rule out the Kai. But it does look like with Jorge, he needs to get a move on, because he's doing 2 stints on the softs and 1 on the mediums. So he's certainly a man on a mission right now. 1.2 seconds is the gap between him and the Kai, and closing right now, as it's coming down to 1.1 to 1 second as we go into the braking zone. This is where he'll probably make up most of his time. So as he slams on the brakes for the chicane, you can see that now it is beneath a second, in fact half a second to the Kai. So Jorge is absolutely flying right now, Cassie.
Yeah, he is. And you know what, the soft strategy, I think it's just something that you got to try against a driver like Wid, who is so crafty and so fast. And I'm going to pass it to you, because here's a pass.
Yeah, Kai went massively deep into the medium speed double apex left-hander, and Jorge just slips up the inside. Easy pass in the end for Jorge, who now retakes the lead. But certainly we know that with Yas Marina that it is quite a short pit lane, and it does cut off a big part of the circuit as well, so you don't actually lose that much time in the pit lane, roughly about 15 to 20 seconds we predict. Looking aboard with Talon at the moment, currently P8. So Talon has made up currently right now 5 positions from his grid start, looking good for his 8th, and maybe challenging P7 with Dark and Azrael, who currently holds that position right now. But we do know that they've started on the medium tyres. They'll probably end on the soft tyres. But any future developments, any further developments across the grid here, TKs?
You know, things have settled down a little bit. There's a little bit of a battle for P3, but there are several drivers who have yet to pit and other drivers who will need to pit again. So strategy is all over the place. From the drivers I talked to, it really seemed like there was only one way to go, but clearly everyone was keeping their cards close to their chest and not wanting to share, as we see Wid attempt to go up the inside of Alicos, and he gets it done. Can Alicos get the cutback, hitting on the throttle a bit earlier, but there's just nowhere for him to go, allowing S7R Wid up into P3. Very nicely done, wouldn't you say, Claude?
Yeah, again, textbook overtake there from S7R Wid, showing his true prowess and calm under pressure as well, as he takes that third position away from Alicos, and now looking to try and hound down the Kai and Jorge. As we said with Jorge, he is on the more aggressive strategy. Well, he obviously pitted quite early, so he's going to have to run quite a number of laps on their medium tyres, but if anyone can, I'm pretty sure that S7R Wid can. So we will see how his race develops in the coming laps, but certainly still very close between Dark and Azrael and Talon. Azrael, who is up 3 positions so far from his grid start, and Azrael, he grabs 40 points for the season, P4, P10, P8, and then the second position that cemented his qualification into this Division A final. Last time out, he didn't reach the final for Season 6, so he got knocked out in the league phase. So he's already done one better. And certainly he's doing a great job in P7, which will be his best result so far in NRL, but certainly a battle that is now brewing is between Alicos and Bacon Dance. The gap is about 2.5 tenths of a second. He really closes up to the back of Alicos. Alicos' exhaust got bigger and bigger as we got into the hairpin there, and it looks like Alicos, well, he's a sitting duck right now. He is going to make his car as large as possible, and Bacon Dance goes for a great move on the inside. It was a late move, but a clean move at that, and what a fantastic move from Bacon Dance there, Tati.
Oh yeah, we need the replay. Brave on the brakes there. He knew he had it, knew he had the grip. I mean, it just came out of nowhere, but it worked out perfectly. He didn't go a millimeter wide on that. We're on board right now. We're going to watch, and boom, just breaks right after Alicos, tucks it in nicely, hits the apex right, a little bit squirrely on the exit, but I think traction control saved him there, and a good pass by Bacon Dance. That was amazing.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it certainly was. It was bold. It was brave. But sometimes you are rewarded for being brave, and certainly a true masterclass of a move from Bacon Dance as he looks to try and stay in contention of at least a podium here. Alicos having a solid race so far, though. P5, he is on quite worn medium tyres, but actually really preserving them tyres. And you can see with the lap delta as well, very, very consistent lap times from him, consistently in the 1 minute 33s. Earlier on, maybe in the 1 minute 32s, but certainly not really losing out too much time. He's got a comfortable lead over the higher place in 6th position. So he'll be looking to hang in there and hope that there are mistakes in front of him. Oh, and who's spun out there? Wid has spun out.
Okay.
And we may need to have a look at the replay there as he tries to desperately rejoin the circuit in 6th position as Higher Place moves past him. So we ride on board with S7R Wid, who was currently in this replay in 3rd position as we came through to the penultimate corner, onto the last corner. Missed the apex, tried to get on the loud pedal, and unfortunately, as he was still turning, the rear end snapped out, hit the wall, and that is absolutely costly for S7R Wid, T-Case.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And you even saw there, he has the traction control turned on. That shows you just how much power these cars have. When you get on that loud pedal, it's no joke. It's no joke. That is so unfortunate for Wid, but this is blood in the water for Ezreal and Talon. They're thinking, oh, we can take a little piece out of the champ here. Going to be good for them. One thing I wanted to note, Cotton Ballistics and Bobagito have both pitted twice. They both have done a medium soft. So going to be interesting to see the two of their strategies play out through this race squad.
I think
Indeed, and the Cotton Ballistics.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to cut in there because Cotton Ballistic's got a brilliant exit out of the chicane and he's drawing alongside Shred, fighting for that 10th position. He's going to have to do it the hard way around the outside. Shred, he's not going to make it easy for him, but Cotton Ballistics attempts the old switcheroo and makes it stick and moves up into P10. Sorry, Tati.
No, do not apologize to me. It wasn't my turn. That was a great move in turn 9. I just love this whole sequence of corners. The double left-hander of turn 9 into 10 and 11 into the final corner. I mean, it's just an amazing spot for passing. Who was that? What just happened?
Wid's in the pits, and Dark and Azrael made a mistake. He's got rear aero damage as well as Moose gets past him into P7. I'm not 100% sure what happened. We just saw the sort of the back end of that as we look on the replay now. So coming through, and it could be the same mistake that Wid did onto the last corner. Got on the loud pedal early as he was turning. It did brilliant to save the car. Unfortunately, just picking up that little bit of damage on the rear there, which is a little bit costly for him, TKs.
Yeah, it really is. It just shows you how difficult these cars are to drive. Wid pitting to repair damage, comes back off on the mediums. We imagine we're gonna see another pit stop for damage from that wreck as well. Shred also in the pits, comes out on softs with a 3-second penalty. So yeah, this is nothing like any research I did on this race. None of it has played out. So clearly, once we get all these amazing drivers on the track, all strats are out the window, and it's just quick to the board. Let's see who wins it.
Okay, and so Bobajido looks like he's trying to size up an opportunity on S7R Weird, of course, on the racing soft tyres, so he should be superior right now. As S7R Weird covers off the outside and the inside line for the double or triple right-handers, and so Weird tries to make his car as large as possible, and you can see that Bobajido has greater grip at this stage, but Weird is not just going to hand them positions to the drivers as Bobajido looked to try to draw up alongside Wid, but yet again couldn't really get on the loud pedal when he wanted to. We're just perfectly positioning the car to the side of Bobajido, so it wasn't going to make it easy for him, but you just feel like it's just a matter of time really when Bobajido does pounce and try to take that 10th position away from S7R with Tati.
Yeah, I mean, he's biding his time. I shout out to Bobajido and Dark and Azrael actually keeping it pure, no TCS, just raw dogging a high revving V8 here, but it's pure formula racing. And Wid, to his annoyance, had TCS on. It didn't save him in his spin, and it annoyed him because he couldn't get the car around to get it facing the right direction again because of TCS. So maybe that's not the way to go driving this car.
Indeed, and we've got a fight out for P6 as Moose tries it around the outside. He hung it around the outside, he made it stick, and he moves up into P6, but he goes a little bit deep, and it might give a chance for Talon to come fighting back, but it looks like he concedes, and Moose moves up into P6 now. So, yeah, very, very close between the two drivers. We'll look back on the replay now, but it looked like Moose got an excellent run out of the chicane, and then as he tried to apply the mind games to Talon held the inside line. Moose said, do you know what, we'll go around the outside, and he made it stick, and fantastic racing from Moose Tassi.
Yeah, again, right in my favorite little spot on this track. It's one of those sequence of corners that you have to get it right or you're going to get it wrong. Moose got it a little wrong, but managed to hold on to his position somehow there. It's so fun to watch these drivers battle it out here. This race literally belongs to anyone. We just got to the halfway point.
Yeah, and so something I can't really work out at the moment because Bobajido has moved up into P10 now, so we're down into P11. Of course, the strategy going out the window for S7R Wid here. So now it's just a case of Jorge trying to keep the pace up. And I'm not 100% sure in terms of because Kai is doing the one-stopper, Jorge doing the two-stopper. Is whether or not Jorge can keep this pace up and hope that when he does come into the pit that that basically he has extended enough of a gap in front of the Kai to then to go on the last stint ahead of Kaya. It's certainly going to be very, very tight. We do predict that the time loss in the pits, because it's from the last corner of the previous lap to turn 3 of the next lap, that it is roughly between 15 to 20 seconds the pit lane loss. So currently 13.5 seconds is the gap. It's certainly going to be really tight, I think, TKs.
Yeah, it's going to be super tight because with Jorge with that 13.5 second gap to the Kai, and then you have Bacon Dance not too far off either of them. Something else we've been monitoring here is our one driver to go to the hards early on to Truth Serum. He is almost a minute 20 behind the leader, so running on those hards is not working for him. He's going to have to hope for quite a bit of pit mistakes and losses, maybe some 3-second pens if he wants to move up ahead of anyone on this race here, Flood.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we've seen moments from the drivers where, they're on the softer of compounds, and it's very, very difficult to apply the power out of these slower corners. Having to do it on the hard tyres, you must be losing so much time on them tyres. So, trying something different, but as you said, TK's maybe thinking that he has played the wrong strategy, as Jorge has come into the pits, now getting released out on circuit now on the medium tyres, gets released, and they're going to be side by side as he enters the corner, and Jorge, I think he's just about got a nose in front of the Kai. The Kai will know that he's got cold tyres, so can he make it work? Can he slip up the inside with the old switcheroo? Looks like the Kai is going to concede, and looks like Kai has no answer to Jorge as Jorge rejoins in the race lead, Tati. And you're muted, Tati.
Yes, now I wonder, the Kai has clearly gone 24 laps on his medium so far. I don't think we've seen a pit. Jorge just got on the medium, so he can go to the end of the race. The Kai still has to pit. He may be able to go for a faster compound to the softs, but what he just learned is that he came out behind Jorge, and all advantages belong to Jorge right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. I didn't even think of that, to be honest. So, I mean, big moment. Nearly lost the car as Kai goes wide, and Bacon Dance Boys looking to, not even looking. He has taken that second position away from the Kai. He has got front aero damage though, which is definitely not going to help him in the aero department, and will be losing speed down the straights as well. It's not over for the Kai, that is for sure. But yeah, certainly we can see the developments of how these strategies are starting to play out, and maybe a little bit of luck along the way, but it seems like a bit of a masterclass that Jorge has produced so far, TKs.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I mean, he called it perfectly. Pulling out the 2-stop over the Kai's potential 1-stop, coming out ahead. Clearly the undercut is the advantage here. Very well done to get out there and move on those cold tires. Not easy to do. The Kai clearly suffering on those warns, even with Bacon Dance with the damage, willing to stay out because he's on pressure mediums than the Kai, and it seems to be working to his advantage.
Yeah, and so we know that the Kai is running these racing medium tyres, and we know that he's very good on preserving his tyres. I think that he will be pitting quite imminently though to get onto the faster of tyres, but then he will have it all to do if he is to catch up and at least cement that podium. He is 0.7 of a second down on Bacon Dance, so he is maintaining, or Bacon Darts is maintaining that gap to the Kai, or Bacon Darts goes a little bit wide there, and the thing is with Yas Marina, so the track limits are not that strict, but when you go wide, when you go over the curves, this car doesn't like it. You pick up dirty tires, it unsettles the car as well if you hit the wrong part of the curb as well. So he will not be wanting to go wide too many times if he wants to hold on to that second position. But yeah, certainly very tight at the moment. We've got 14 laps left of this race, and well, as I say, it's probably Jorge's to lose. So Jorge will know that he just needs to be consistent, don't do anything silly, and surely he'll become the NRL Season 7 champion come the end of the race, Tassie.
Yeah, I mean, Jorge, man, he's sitting pretty right now. No more win to worry about. I mean, that battle went on for so long. Hate to see somebody spin out of it, but Jorge is sitting real pretty. But the Kai and Bacon Dance are doing great. Bacon Dance doing all this with damage.
Oh wow!
Around the outside though, right here.
Yeah, and I think he's made his stick because that will turn into the inside line for the next couple of corners here. So he does make it stick, and it was quite evident there as we went down the back straight that how much speed Bacon Dance was losing with that aero damage. Kai retakes that second position away from Bacon Dance, but have to say Bacon Dance still doing an excellent job considering how challenging that car must be as the Kai dives into the pits from second position on the end of lap number 26 to get off them worn medium tyres onto some fresh soft tyres. We'll see where he comes out, back out on track. So a higher place has moved up into third position. We're waiting to see where Moose will be in relation to the car. In fact, Moose comes into the pits from P5 off of them soft tyres. Is he doing a double soft in Moose? Not 100% sure on that one.
Moose did medium soft already, so currently in the pits, I imagine he's going to do a medium soft. This is the time several of the one-stoppers have come in. We just saw the Kai come in, but I don't believe Azriel or Alikos have come in for their one-stop pit yet, and that is Moose back out on the softs, Flawed.
Okay, so rejoining in ninth position as Weird easily got past him, then into P8, 3 seconds adrift of FF Bobber Gido, who's starting to rise up the ranks right now. A higher place, currently third position, looking really good for that podium. Of course, we know that he started on the soft, so he's on now the medium tyres, looking to preserve them till the end of the race. Kai has a 11.2, or well, it's beneath 11 seconds now, I think, to try and catch up to a higher place on the superior soft tyres. But we do know how quickly them soft tyres do degrade. So this is the time really that Kai will be trying to make up as much time as possible, maybe hoping for a mistake from a higher place. But 11 seconds is a long time to try and make up, I think, Tati.
It really is, but man, we've just seen so many crazy, time-consuming things happen to people. Not a lot of penalties, but incidents, contact, etc. Of course, now obviously less contact since people are separated. I just don't think anyone is out of this race. I mean, Wid's all the way down to P8, and he could still win. That's how I see it.
Well, I mean, I do wonder whether or not he will need a miracle. However, miracles do, well, they do come in small packages, don't they? And yeah, certainly if Wid is capable of making a mistake, and I don't wish it upon anyone, but Jorge could make a mistake, Baker Darts could make a mistake, a higher place could make a mistake, but I am not going to be that cruel.
Well, Fun, I made a mistake. Alikos and Azriel did pit in that time frame, so everyone has pitted. Everyone has served the requirements that are on this race. So it potentially could be a race to the end with 13 laps left. It'll be interesting to see some of these earlier pitters. As we see here further back, there is a slight battle for P10 as a yellow flag has come on the track. I don't know what it's from. It is cleared. No, it's back on. I'm about to see who this is. And it is Cotton Ballistics, and P11 has gone off. Cotton Ballistics has gone off.
Oh, and he was in 6th position as well, so losing 5 positions from this mistake. And this is what we're talking about. You get too much of that curb and nearly collecting Bobachito in the process as well. Very lucky that I don't even know if he ghosted or they literally skimmed. But yeah, certainly Cotton Ballistics with a big error there, diving into the pits from P11. You have to say it's probably race over for him. But certainly we have got now, a higher place has just made the move on Bacon Darts to move up into P2. Did Bacon Darts make a mistake? Have we got a replay to show? I'm not 100% sure. Let's have a look now. So a higher place was just behind Bacon Darts, and again I think it's evidence there that the aero damage he's got to the front of the car, higher place had much better top end speed to easily pass him before we got into the braking zone to move up into 2nd position. So a big development going on in this race. Actually, just looking at the gaps as well, I thought that Jorge had a larger gap at the top. The gap between Bacon Darts and Jorge is 9.8 seconds. So, you know, it's not a foregone conclusion for Jorge to get the race victory. However, he does have a 9.3 second lead over a higher place. But stranger things have happened, though, TKs.
Yes, and there's a battle for P9 going on. I was trying to type it in, but P9, Talon and Shred, and no! He's lost it. He was getting on the loud paddle. He and Talon have swapped positions 3 times in that amount of time, and you can see the pressure got to Shred here. I'm sure we're going to have a replay of just how that unfolded, but unfortunate as Shred dives into the pits. Bobachito in the pits. Cotton Ballistics, I think, is calling it a night and staying in the pits, but you can see here the battle between Shred and Talon was fierce. Talon getting back ahead of Shred. Oh, late on the brakes, and Shred goes into the back of Talon ever so slightly, giving the position back, allows Talon. This is where it gets a bit off camber, and you can see as he takes the apex and gets back on the throttle at the high end of the RPMs, those wheels just start spinning in the lower gear squad.
Yeah, they certainly do. You have to be so smooth on the throttle and maybe even short shift to a higher gear as well. Unfortunately, just making that mistake there as he lost all types of traction, and yeah, really will be struggling to get even a top 10 position from this race. However, looking on a higher place, currently 2nd place, certainly looking for a higher place, but currently 9.6 seconds adrift of Jorge, who looks like he's starting to extend his lead at the top. The Kai, we do need to keep an eye on the Kai though, because we last reported that he was roughly about 10 to 11 seconds behind at the time. It was a higher place. Now it's Bacon Darts, 2.7 seconds, 2.5 seconds now as we went into the braking zone for the hairpin, as he went a little bit scribbly on the exit, but didn't lose any time. So the gap has come down to about 2.4 seconds. Now we have got 9 laps remaining, so I'm probably going to have to take back that comment about you know, him, a difficult task for him to close that gap, because all of a sudden Tatty is now looking very close.
Yeah, Bacon Dance, of course, has opted to stay out with that damage for so long, and maybe isn't really looking for positions. He does okay when he's got slipstream because of the weak slip. That front aero damage doesn't bother him, and it seems to give him an advantage in the kind of more twisty stuff, right? He's got the downforce because of it, so it's kind of keeping him in that kind of third. He slides back between 3rd and 4th, and he never quite loses it. But here comes the Kai, who's probably going to put him in 4th, but he's going to probably stay in 1st.
Yeah, it makes sense. And yeah, I mean, even in the last, half a lap, he's already gained 2 seconds to Bacon Dart. So the gap is now beneath half a second as we go through turn 1 for the 32nd time of asking. And you can see visibly that gap is, or the car is getting bigger and bigger. And so it looks like Bacon Darts is going to afford the space on the inside, which will be the outside line for the car as they both go toe-to-toe through the hairpin now. It looks, a little bit of contact as the car went a little bit squirrely over the bump, or over the curb there. They are going to be toe-to-toe, but Bacon Darts has got the inside line, but he has a lack of top-end speed, and the kite does make it into P3, although a little bit of contact again from Bacon Darts to the back of the Kai's car, but Kai moving up into P3, and now will be trying to hound down a higher place, who is 2.2 seconds up the road from him in P2, T-Case.
Yes, indeed. I mean, this is some great battling. There's a little more battling going on further back between Bobagito and Talon, swapping positions quite nicely here as the Kai takes P3 with a commanding lead. Talon now side by side, up late on the brakes goes Bobagito, and unbelievable stuff here at Yas Marina Circuit. It is there's a reason F1 races here every year, for sure. You can see just the battles these high downforce cars have around the track as we see the battle for P8 going through the chicane. Talon having to settle with P9 Flawed.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, in terms of like the passion that goes into this racing, you know, people like Bobagito that might not be fighting for top honors right now, but, you know, you try and tell it to them about it as Kai looks to dive around the outside. I think he's made his stick, and he certainly does, into second position in front of a higher place. A higher place he is on the medium tyres, the less grippy tyres. He'll be praying there. Oh, he cuts back on the Kai on the inside. They're going to be side by side going into the turn, and it looks like the Kai is just going to hold his car just in front of the higher place that has nowhere to go. The Kai will go super defensive now. I'm sure he's going to take the inside. No, he's going to allow the space for a higher place who dives out the inside. The Kai looks like he's going to get later on the brakes though on the superior tyre, and he will hold on to that second position. And we have got a battle in the background between, and I think Alicos may have already made the move on Bacon Dart to move up into P4. Explain to us about that maneuver, T-Case.
Yeah, it's exactly this. We're going to see it right here. You can just see he's going to get the run out of the corner. That front left damage is just hurting Bacon Dance. He was okay when he had grip on those mediums, but now that he's below 50%, he's struggling with the lack of downforce, and that just allowed Alicos to easily slip on by on the softer compound tires.
Okay, yeah, so even in the final embers of this race, there is drama galore. You cannot take your eyes off this racing action. Blink and you may miss something. But Alicos, yeah, definitely looking very strong in this latter part of the race. Do not rule him out for challenging for that podium position. However, looking at Jorge, he has now developed an even larger lead at the top end of the grid to 12, maybe even 13 seconds over the Kai. So he's not letting up at the moment, Jorge. He wants his back-to-back championship title for NRL. Well, he needs to hold out for another 6 or so laps of this race. So we will not confirm his race victory at this stage, but it is looking more and more likely as the laps tick on by. The Kai is starting to gap himself to a higher place. 1.5 seconds is the gap, but Alicos within 2 seconds of a higher place. And as I like to call it, Tati, this could be squeaky bum time for a higher place.
Incredibly well to get up the grid, get into the podium, fought a little bit for P2 there, might still get it, we still got a few laps here, but I'm really proud of what a higher place has been able to do in this race. But yeah, the bum been squeaked, like lap one.
Yeah, I can imagine that all the drivers' seats are rather moist and slippery right now.
If your seat ain't moist, you're not doing it right.
Exactly.
It looks like Alikos is catching there a little bit on a higher place. He's dropped the gap down between the second quad.
He has indeed, yeah. But within a second now, if he can get a good exit now, then he will be fighting for that P3 sooner rather than later. The gap is to about 0.7 of a second, so he is tumbling down as we speak, as we go into the double apex left-hander, and this is where it will be probably evident of the superior grip for Alikos as he looks to really hound down a higher place for that last step on the podium. And yeah, you can see visibly now that a higher place's car is getting larger and larger, or from the rear side of a higher place, Alikos' car getting bigger and bigger. There's a little bit of contact between the two drivers, as you can see a difference in tyre grip going into the braking zone. Alikos does back off, but I mean, if that is a warning shot to a higher place, then yeah, I don't think I'm trying to I've mucked up to saying there, but but yeah, certainly will be looking in his mirrors now, and yeah, I think we're going to have to stay on board with him now, because as we go into the braking zone for the hairpin, Alikos, he knows if he can just get a better exit, he can get on the loud pedal a little bit earlier than the higher place. He's got that slipstream as well. He's going to follow him like a wasp, sorry, a beta honey, as Alikos and higher place have a bit of a contact, but Alikos with the overspeed get past a higher place and moves up into P3 there, Tati.
Yes, that was an amazing move there. A little bit of touching from wheel to wheel there. Not really what you want here, but I mean, we've seen a couple of bump drafts and people survived. Oh, sorry, I thought I saw something like something. Never mind. Alikos to get in third place there. So a higher place has to fight to keep that podium if he really wants to. Alikos, where do you start? P7?
Alikos, he started P4.
P4. Okay, got it. My fault.
Yeah.
Now,
so
interesting.
Yeah.
Alikos is on the softs. Higher place is on the medium. They're both on the one-stop strategy. So we're seeing how the lighter car on the softer compound is more beneficial here, as Alikos is starting to now pull away from a higher place.
Yeah, and it's just about you know, how quickly them soft tyres do fall off a cliff for Alikos. Has he done enough preservation of them soft tyres, or are they going to be very worn and the car very tricky to drive in the final couple of laps? I think he's done enough, though, to be honest, because we're on lap 37 of 40, so we're only talking about another 2.5 laps to go. S7R Wid with his recovery mission, currently P6, but the gap is 8 seconds to Bacon Dance now. We do know that Bacon Dance is losing a lot of time. 8 seconds is a lot to try and claw back, and I know I said that before, but it's a long you know, with 2.5 laps, it's a lot of time to try and claw back, but we'll see how Wid does, as we're, you know, still very close between P3 and P4. 1.1 seconds is the gap, so a higher place just looking to try and be consistent and just be in the frame for that podium position, but yeah, if Alikos can stick to his lines and not do anything stupid, then I think Alikos is good for that third position, as we look on board with Jorge still leading the race, but he has made a mistake, because now if you look at the delta between him and the Kai, well, it was about 13 seconds. It's down to 8.6 seconds. So is it with... No, to be honest, his tyre delta's okay. So I think he made a mistake on lap number 37. 1 minute 33.3 was his lap time there. We know that the Kai is on the soft tyres. I mean, look, sorry, go on, take case.
Yeah, well, something interesting with Jorge in that gap is he has been going back and forth with the True Serum. The True Serum is currently in P12, and he had been lapped and then apparently was able to get back by Jorge. So it seems like that bit of lap traffic, while I didn't see anything egregious from the truth, he didn't look like he did anything wrong, but I think just that dirty air and having another car around him unsettled Jorge, because he has now dropped back further behind him.
Right, okay. I mean, to be honest, it's quite a large gap to play with just 2.5 laps to go, or not even that. We are coming up to the end of lap number 38. So, you know, he can afford to be a lot slower. He can afford to save fuel. We can see that the light is flashing, but we don't 100% know whether or not he does need to save fuel, or he will have enough fuel by the end of the race. But certainly 8.8 seconds is a lot for Kai to claw back. But I have to say, a phenomenal drive from Kai so far. P2, he was looking rather ominous earlier on, down into P5 and 6, but has made up positions, and finishing second to Jorge is no bad thing at all, and certainly will be his best ever result in NRL to date as well. So, but yeah, we've certainly got a battle going on for the midfield pack between Moose and Boba Gido. The gap is 7.5 tenths of a second. So Moose looking to hold on to 7th for dear life, really. But we know that Boba Gido on the soft tyres right now. I think Moose is on the medium tyres. Is that correct, T-Case?
Yes. No, Moose is on the softs, and Boba Gido on the softs as well. So similar strats there. Moose did a medium soft strategy, while Boba did also the medium soft. So both on the same strat here.
Right, but Boba Gido, the thing, has fresher tyres than Moose, and Moose doesn't get the best of exits. So Boba Gido will be looking to try to take that position away from Moose. Moose is going to go super defensive on the inside. Boba Gido, well, Moose goes deep, and Boba Gido takes his normal line down the inside to move up into P7 there, Tati.
Man, huge mistake from Moose. And according to that, we've seen so many people lose a position out. He just went super wide, wasn't able to cut it back. Sometimes you can apex that, you know, hit that second apex from a really shallow angle and just get the run up. But I think Moose just made a mistake there. I think that was braking.
Yeah, it certainly looks the case, and he got over the curb as well. That may have unsettled the car a little bit, and Boba Gido said thank you very much, we will take that P7. So we are entering the final lap now. So we can see that Jorge, well, you know, if he doesn't do anything stupid, you know, it will be back-to-back championships for Jorge, and leveling with S7R Wid as a double NRL champion. Now, S7R Wid has done really well to close up to Bacon Dancer. Again, I'm going to eat my words because the gap is now beneath half a second. We know Bacon Dance is struggling with the lack of aero in that car. Can Wid save the best to last to take that 5th position away from Bacon Dance you know, for a great comeback for him? But as we look on board with Jorge coming through the penultimate corner and the last corner, Jorge will become NRL Season 7 champion and a double NRL champion, as well as Kai gets a brilliant second position, best NRL performers to date, with Alakos getting the last step on the podium in 3rd position. A higher place couldn't hang on to that podium, but should still be very happy with that P4 as Bacon Dance trying to hold off S7R Wid, and it looks like he is just about going to do so. So Bacon Dance finishes in P5 and S7R Wid in P6, FA Boba Gido in P7, Moose in P8. Talon looks like he is going to finish in 9th position. And I do believe, looking at Talon's record, I think this will be his second P9 in a row, actually, in these finals. So a little bit lucky for him. But a great debut season for Shred. It could have been a lot better had he not had one of them incidents. But he's going to have to settle for that top 10 position with Dark and Azrael coming across the line in P11. And S7R, the Truth Serum. It's been a real mixed bag of a performance from him. He's going to come across the line in the 12th with Cotton Ballistics, already cementing that 13th position as he's in the pits. But TK's, what a phenomenal race we've seen. I'd love to know your thoughts.
Oh man, this fantastic is my thoughts. I mean, unfortunate for the incident from Wade dropping back, but still able to hold on to it. I am so impressed with Bacon Dance getting damage and just being like, you know what, I got track position, I'm going to do my best. He was able to move up a couple positions. He was getting past there at the end, but was able to hold off with incredible stuff, Claude.
Yeah, 100%. And Tazzy, was this the race you was expecting today?
I don't know if it was the race I was expecting, but certainly the race I was hoping for. It was full of action. Again, everything was to play for anyone. We saw so many mistakes and so many really happy moments for drivers. Jorge, of course, was able to stay super consistent, but you see the mixed strategies working. I think the Kai and maybe Jorge are the only two examples of, hey, my strategy worked out perfectly that I can think of. No big mistakes from either one of them. Bacon Dance with the damage, yeah, TK, super impressive there. And the issue he was dealing with was not a lack of aero, it was too much aero in the front. So he was really losing a lot of time on these straights, but yeah, held on to P5. This was a great race.
Yeah, it certainly was. When I reported before about the Battle of the Titans between Jorge and Wid, and last time out in the Super Performance at Red Bull Ring, we did talk about the rain, but there wasn't the great equalizer this time. Unfortunately, it was a mistake that came from Wid, but there we go, confirmed. NRL Season 7 champion going to PHG, Jorge Senior. Congratulations to him. Fully deserved for him, and just confirmation of our race results in this NRL Season 7 Division A final. Confirmed there. Jorge Senior of PHG rounds off with a fantastic victory for him. In the end, quite comfortable ahead of the ever impressive the Kai of, I do believe, MMR now, who grabbed an excellent second position. Then it was Alicos that rounded off our podium to finish in third position. And we'll get the thoughts of, or at least two of the top three drivers very, very shortly. But in fourth place, big credit has to go to S7R, a higher place with a brilliant debut season for him, finishing in fourth position ahead of the other debutant in NRL this season, Bacon Dance, who I thought did brilliantly to really handle the car in what could have been tricky conditions for him. S7R Wid wasn't able to take back that P5 away from Bacon Dance in the end, and what could have been for Wid had he have not made that mistake, I'm sure he's going to be super annoyed with that sixth position. FAF Bobagido comes home in seventh position in the end, in front of Moose, who finishes in P8. In P9 went to Talon, and again another good season for Shred, making his NRL debut in Season 7 ahead of Dark and Azrael in P11, S7R the Truth Serum in P12, and at the back of the grid in P13, Cotton Ballistics rounding off our Division A final.
Claude, Shred there with a 1:30.067, the fastest lap by a couple tenths. So Shred really, I mean, he found a rhythm at some point. That was very impressive, Claude.
Yeah, it certainly was very, very impressive, and a lot of very impressive performances out there today. I do believe we've got two of our drivers in the interview booth right now. So we are going to come to our third place finisher. That was Alikos. And congratulations to you, Alikos, on a great performance, finishing in third position. How are you feeling after that, what I'm going to say, quite a chaotic race?
I am over the moon right now. Getting a top 3 in the final has been a goal of mine ever since I joined the league. The first finals that I did, I got 4th. I was pushing as hard as I could to try and get 3rd on the last lap from Talon that season. Missed out just by less than 0.2 of a second. So that's kind of been eating at me for a while. So once I saw these F1 cars come up again, I was like, okay, I can drive these, and I like Yas Marina. So I was very excited. I did a lot of practice, and it paid off.
Yeah, it certainly was evidence of practice coming into play there. Yeah, as you mentioned, you got that P4 in season 5. So you've kind of like avenged that season because you have got that podium position. So you must be super happy. And the biggest congratulations to you. I'm going to hand you over to Tati. Any questions for our third place finisher and your thoughts on his performance as well?
Yeah, of course. Alikos, congratulations on getting that 3rd place. And certainly it's a capital letter congratulations, since you've been waiting for so long to do this and you've hit your goal. To that point, it was close. It took some hard fighting to do it. When you were coming up on a higher place, I think you initially made the pass without too much difficulty, but he fought back. What was going through your mind during that battle?
Well, I saw how fast I was catching up those guys that did the reverse strategy, as well as seeing Kai in front of me, how he got through. So I knew I had a few laps to do it. I could be a little bit patient, but at the same time, I didn't want to wait until the last minute when my tires were dead. So I just picked my what I felt like was the right moment, and it worked out.
Yeah, obviously it did. You did a fantastic job there. Man, yeah, watching how everyone else was doing seemed to be the key here, because so many people were on different strategies. You read the race perfectly. And again, I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
And finally, T-Case, any questions?
Yeah, Alikos, congratulations. That podium, it's so great when you can achieve your goals. Well done. You mentioned strategy there. I talked to several drivers, and everybody kind of seemed to be on that medium soft strat, maybe a soft medium, depending on where they start. Were you surprised when you saw Jorge going in for more than just one pit stop?
Yeah, I was actually quite concerned when he did that, because our last race for Friday A, me and Azriel, we had a kind of a strategy that nobody else figured out. So I was like, oh no, did we not, think that two stop was good enough, or like, was it actually slightly better? But I think just Jorge and Wind are just that fast that they can make it work.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you did a great job. And yeah, like you were saying, you saw what the Kai was able to do on the same strategy, going up against a higher place on the alternate strategy. So you were patient, you were consistent, and you really did an incredible job. Congratulations, Alikos.
Thank you, and congratulations to Kai and Jorge.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alikos, and we look forward to seeing you for season 8. Maybe you'll be challenging the top 2, maybe even a championship belt for you. Who knows? But great performance today, and well done.
Thank you, and thanks to all you guys who make this league happen.
You're very, very welcome. You are the stars of the show, and it's just an absolute pleasure for us to be able to commentate on such amazing driving out there. So, yeah, again, huge congratulations to you, Alikos.
Thank you.
Okay, and yeah, we're not going to get word from Kai, so it is over to our NRL Season 7 champion, Jorge. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Pretty crazy race, actually.
It was a very, very crazy race, and I have to say, the battle that you had with Wid in the sort of first was it first half of the race was so intense, so tight between you. Firstly, I need to ask: was you surprised in seeing Wid making a mistake, or at least seeing it in the timing charts that he was separated by quite a bit? And I mean, tell us about your nerves as well, because these cars are super tricky to drive, particularly in the exits of the slower corners with Wid up your rear side. How nervous was you in them moments?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely feeling it. I saw in practice, in the lobby that he was on softs the whole time. So I was kind of anticipating that. I was like, all right, I guess he's going softs, I'm going softs. The odds of me just driving off away from him are very slim. And there were some little points where I had a little bit of a gap, but then, yeah, he really started putting on some pressure. And yeah, I mean, I was a bit rattled and, started overdriving the car a little bit. The tires really didn't feel good. And I think he definitely had more pace on me, at least for probably the second half of those laps that we were out there together. And I don't know, you just mentioned he made a mistake. I didn't know that he made a mistake. I thought that I just had undercut him, and I just figured he might have come out in traffic or something and got held up. But yeah, I definitely had noticed that. I think I went into the pits maybe a second or something ahead of him, and then when on the next lap I was 3 or 4 seconds up, and I was like, all right, I got a little bit of breath of fresh air, kind of relax a little bit and just try and do some semi decent laps.
Yeah, and certainly you was a man on the mission, and you really put the hammer down in the second half of the race, and it was absolutely great to see. And yeah, just a huge congratulations on what turned out to be quite a comfortable win for you, but a fantastic performance nevertheless. Yeah, I'm going to hand you over to TK. TK, have you got any questions for our NRL champion?
Yeah, one question, mostly just compliments. Well done, Jorge. You are joining the elite. We had Mullet win back-to-back Season 2 and Season 3 Division A. And then, of course, we had Wid win Season 4, Season 5 Division A. You won last season. You've won this season. Can we expect a three-peat for Season 8?
I don't know. Can I enjoy this one first? I'm probably I'll be back, but don't put the pressure on me.
Well, I am. The pressure is on. I want to see our first three-peat next season, Season 8. You did an amazing job, Jorge, and you deserve to celebrate, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
And lastly, Tassie, your thoughts, your questions?
Yes, of course. Jorge, last week I asked you what combo you thought you could win, and what you told me was not street cars and not a made-up track, and you got exactly the opposite. So I'm guessing you got what you wanted. You got the ultimate category of race car and a real-world track made specifically for it. I'm glad you didn't waste it. My question is about your strategy. You went with the soft, medium, and I speculated, was that in response to you knowing you'd be battling it out with Wid? Because everyone else pretty much did the one stop.
Yeah, actually, I have to give credit to Bobagito. I think we were practicing, or I was practicing one stops. Really wasn't liking it because I really the softs fall off and you have to drive so many laps on kind of dead tires and kind of the mediums too. And it just didn't feel good. And then at some point I touched base with Bobagito and he mentioned the two stopper. And then so I did a bunch of practice with the two stopper and it felt so much better. You can basically more or less push the whole time. And so really wasn't in response to what I thought Wade was going to do. I actually would have figured that most people would have gone on the two stopper because it just felt so much better. I can't really say time wise. I didn't really go time them back to back and see what was faster, but yeah. And then because I knew I was starting out front, even though it's not optimal, I just figured I'll just go softs and try and build a gap on anybody who's on the mediums. I kind of knew how much of a gap I needed to build before that first stop. And then I was like, I'm just going to go softs again to kind of further that gap. And then I'll put on the mediums at the end. Whoever's going to chase me down, by the time they catch me, their softs are going to be pretty dead. And that tire advantage will be very small, if any. So that's, that was kind of the whole strategy.
Hey man, it really worked out for you. Obviously I would have loved to see you and Wid battle it out towards the end. To your point, it looked like it was staying close, but alas, you did it. And I think your strategy was right. I think most people we saw make a mistake did come down to getting on that gas on 50% or less rear tires. So
Right.
congratulations, man. You put on a clinic. Here's to the three-peat.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. And then before you let me go, obviously, big shout out to you guys, McNaughty, everyone who puts the league on, all the other drivers. Congratulations to the Kai, Alicos, MMR, PHG, everybody. Another fun season. So, yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Thank you very much, Jorge. And again, congratulations to you on a fantastic performance. Double NRL champion now. Fingers crossed for you on becoming the first driver to become a triple NRL champion. But, go and celebrate however you celebrate, whether that's a beer or not. We look forward to seeing you for season 8.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jorge.
See ya.
See ya, mate. Okay, so that was the thoughts of our podium drivers, and a massive congratulations to Jorge Sr. on becoming the NRL Season 7 champion. Now, we welcome back the brilliant Toon, JK, and Hovercraft from earlier in the broadcast. Firstly, I'm going to say, how are you, Toon? And, what are your thoughts on what we've seen today? And I've got to ask you, who most impressed you throughout this championship as well?
I'm feeling pretty good. A little mind blown that it's over, but honestly, this has been quite the season. We've seen quite the impeccable racing for the Division B and Division A finals. Honestly, if this race was a couple laps longer, it could have been radically different given the pace that we saw from the Kai in terms of trying to catch up to Jorge. So it was very interesting to see. And honestly, the one who impressed me the most throughout the season, God, that's a tricky one.
Nice.
Because you could say Jorge going back to back, being on very sacred ground, but honestly, we had quite the season, a very unexpected season. And honestly, there's so many different options that it's hard to pick, but I mean, could give some love to our newer drivers. Captain Slow had a good season. We also had, a great showing from the likes of the PDX drivers. So honestly, it's too hard to narrow down one driver that impressed me the most.
Yeah, you make a great point there about the new drivers, the standard of driving as well. I mean, in racing leagues you have accidents all the time, right? And reports that go through. But in compared to previous seasons, I have to say the races have been absolutely spectacular. So good point there. But JK, you made your debut in NRL as commentator. I mean, have you enjoyed your time this season? And I'll throw that question over to you as well. I mean, who really stood out for you as a driver throughout this season?
So to answer your first question, loved being part of the commentary crew. I'm hoping that McNaughty will let me come back next season. I'm sure he will. I haven't messed anything up too much. But with regards to the season, I think having a PSVR 2 driver come quite high up into the ranks is quite good. It's obviously showing that PSVR and that sort of whole way of racing is potentially the future. So it's quite nice to see to be at the front of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course, because you are part of the VR Mafia. I heard from the DGDR podcast.
Yeah. I'm an elitist. Yeah,
That's right. There you go.
But no, it's good. I think it is the future.
Too.
Yeah, it's definitely the future. I think, and it'll only get better and better. And the fact that we're seeing the change, almost that transition now from flat screen to PSVR, and you can be just as competitive, is impressive.
Yeah, it certainly is, and definitely a great advertisement for people that drive in VR. That is for sure. And then lastly, Hovercraft, welcome back. And although this is not your debut, I mean you've definitely got involved in the NRL a whole lot more this season. Firstly, I have to say, very impressive with your race knowledge and just a commentator in general. Have you really enjoyed yourself during this season? And is there anything that really stood out for you throughout season 7?
No, it's been a fantastic season. You know, these last 5 rounds, I guess if you want to count the pre-qualifying round as a round, then it would be 6 rounds. But no, it's been a fantastic display across all the drivers, across all the participants, and even the staff and the organizers, and of course, McNaughty, you know, the mastermind behind this. None of this would have gone off the ground without all the effort and time that he's put into it. Honestly, it's really great seeing all these brand new drivers in their debut seasons really taking a jab at the veterans. You know, Bacon Dance for one. You know, I didn't really know anything about him prior to this season, but he's been putting up really good results race after race, and this finale only cemented that fact further in my mind. So overall, no, it's been amazing, and I will say, watching these past few races have made me motivated to become a driver for the next season.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
representing S7R, of course, isn't it? So, really trying to set the cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak, isn't it? About trying to challenge maybe the likes of Jorge and stop him from becoming that triple NRL champion. We'd love to see it for sure. Really, just lastly to TK's and Tati, I'd love to know, who is your driver of the season, or somebody that maybe improved massively over the seasons gone by. Firstly, I'll give that to TK's.
Yeah, it's so hard. I think Division B really stood out to me this season, as far as how competitive it is. And even though we had some mishaps in that final race, to see JP Scale come out on top, I think was really cool. Newcomer to the league, coming out and winning, was pretty excellent. So I've got to give it to the VIP JP Scale there, Flood.
Okay, and it was a fully deserved victory for him as well. It was a brilliant strategy from him, and deserved Division B champion. Same question to you, Tati. Anyone that really kind of like stood out for you, or you've obviously been in NRL for the last few seasons now, so we've got quite a number of drivers that seems like they've been improving. Is there a driver that really stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough question, as everyone else has already said, but I think Division B was so fun to watch this season. They are really tightly packed. Had some great races, especially that I think it was the Mitsubishis versus the Suis. But Sheldo obviously really stands out. He had a literal perfect season, won every single one of the points rounds, and I'm super gutted for him for what happened earlier today in race B, getting disconnected. But you also got to shout Jorge out, because it's not like he just kind of ran away with it and was just always up front and on pace, had it right. Like, we have watched him come in from the back, having taken an extra pit stop and damage and all that stuff at the Nürburgring, and still get the win. So he showed a tenacity this season to get the two-peat that we haven't seen very often.
Yeah, absolutely, and For me personally, and I'm not trying to be biased, but but you know what I'm going to say. Right. The guy, he throughout this season, it's been super impressive. The kind of like the big step up from previous seasons where he was always competitive, but to be challenging the likes of Jorge, Wid and co, particularly obviously through the Saturday division, where he actually took a win off of Jorge. He got I think it was 3 pole positions in qualifying as well. Perhaps didn't have the experience and the it's a bit harsh, but the nous of a champion like Jorge, but certainly put up a great fight and was super impressed with his performances. But certainly, there's been some great performances throughout Season 7, no matter what division. Big thank you to all the drivers that got involved and put on a great show for us all. There is an announcement that I do need to get off my chest. For those that are not aware, myself, I am actually stepping away from commentary. So today was my last race as host for NRL, and at least for the foreseeable future, to concentrate on real life events and stuff. But I just want to say a big thank you to the viewers for all the support and accepting me as a family for the past 5 seasons here in the NRL. I've got to say a big thank you to the commentators and the production team who I've developed some great friendships over time through all these highs and lows and exciting moments that we've had throughout my time in NRL. And lastly, I want to say a big thank you to McNulty that firstly invited me in, provided a platform for me to express myself, develop and grow as a commentator, and what I feel is one of the best communities out there, the best well-run league and community that I've ever been involved in. So thank you to all of you. I don't know. I've got nothing else to say really.
Well, Claude, I mean, I just want to say, I think I can speak on behalf of everyone who's been here at the NRL for a while. You came in and you really upped, I think, everyone's game. I think we all, those of us who are here before you, all improved because you came and became a part of this. You brought a level of professionalism and experience that the likes of me, Toon, Leo, and Slow-Mo hadn't had before, as we were all very new to this. So you definitely came in and helped us all improve very much. So we're so grateful to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, TKs. That means so much to me. Yes. I'm lost for words now.
Stiff up, JK. Show your man up.
But listen, stiff upper lip, mate.
That is the British way.
That is the British way. Don't show those tears, mate. Only when it's all turned off, do it at home.
Don't worry, I've got my box of Kleenex beside me after the stream, so we will have a good cry afterwards. But
we will miss
I'll take you out. You can't live that far away from me. I'll take you out for a pint. You sound like you're from south somewhere.
Yeah, I'm near London, so we'll definitely have to go for a few beers or 20 for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. You let me know and I'll be there.
Claude, if you ever feel like you've got the itch or something like that, I'm sure that McNaughty would love to have you as a guest on a broadcast. I know for me, any championships I do commentary for, you're more than welcome in the booth with me. If you're just like, hey, let me get a small hit of commentary and I'll go back to being sober. Just a taste. Just a taste. Just a little
sip.
Little pinky. Yeah, a little sip.
No, I appreciate that, and it's been a real pleasure in working with you all, and I know that NRL are in great hands as well, especially now that we've got JK and Hovercraft that have joined the ranks as well, and with everyone that's that has been working, through the NRL through the seasons. I know that NRL is in a great place. But thank you so much for having me, McNulty, and thank you so much to everyone that's a part of NRL. So yeah, that is NRL season 7 wrapped up for another season. But I will say congratulations on Division B champion VIP JP Scale and Division A champion Jorge Senior, and all the drivers competing throughout season 7. A huge thank you going out to our sponsors, which was DGDR, Trails End, Henke's Tavern, and Little J CPA for sponsoring us throughout the whole of the NRL season 7. A big thank you to McNulty and the whole of the production team for putting on another great series as it keeps getting better and better. Also, thank you to Mo reporting barside or roadside of Hickey's Tavern, and all the wonderful viewers in the grounds of Henke's Tavern. And a big thank you, of course, to Toon, Hovercraft, JK, TK's and Tati, and lastly, thank you to you, the viewers, for the continued support, the donations, the subs, the likes. If you haven't already done so, though, please do like and subscribe for more continued content on the McNulty Gaming channel. But I've been your main host, Floor Genius Gaming, signing out for the last time in NRL. So it's a goodbye from TK's.
Later, y'all.
From Tati.
See you next season.
JK.
See you later, guys.
From Hovercraft.
Hey, guys.
And lastly, Toon.
It's been a pleasure, everybody. We all love you. See you in season 8. And from me, good night.
Yep, stay safe out there. Have a wonderful summer, and we'll be back before you know it. Bye-bye for now.